In the year 4386, in the city of Washu, during the era of technological evolution, the world was completely peaceful until a giant frog appeared, known as the King of Beasts. The monster started destroying the city, wreaking havoc everywhere, and people were fleeing in panic. At that moment, our protagonist Wong, a young boy, entered a shop to buy crispy noodles. At the same time, a team of magical heroes arrived to attack the frog monster. They launched their attacks, but they had no effect at all. In the end, the frog counterattacked, and they couldn't stop it. At that moment, the magician Joe noticed Wong on his way home, grabbed him quickly, and took him to a safe place so the monster wouldn't get him. Then Joe returned to fight the monster. Later, it was revealed that Joe had defeated the beast alone, and a statue was built in his honor at a prestigious magic school. He became known through generations as the hero who saved humanity. Time skipped forward to the first day of the new school term. All the students gathered at the Magic Academy, and Wong was among them. Two bullies stopped him, and one of them said, "You're from class 5, right? You're the weak kid. But don't worry, we're your older classmates. We'll help and protect you in this school. But of course, it comes with a price." They demanded his money. At that moment, a girl appeared. She was very famous, the daughter of the owner of the country's largest company, Flower Fort, and her name was Sun. The bullies yelled at her, telling her to get lost, but when she approached, they realized she was stronger than them and quickly ran away, saying, "You're a girl, and we don't fight girls." Sun gently reached out to Wong for a handshake and said, "Don't worry, I'll protect you in this school." But Wong misunderstood the situation, handed her his money, then walked away, leaving Sun completely embarrassed and stunned by what had just happened. At that moment, the hologram of Joe appeared before the students, and they were all amazed. He announced that he was there on behalf of the Magic Bureau, welcomed them to the school, wished them success, and introduced the test that would determine their magical power, which would place them in either the elite class or the regular classes. The test began, and the first student's name appeared on the screen. His name was Ko, and he looked unusual. The students murmured that he resembled an anime artist, and it turned out he was actually the creator of this story. Ko entered the dark testing chamber, where water covered the floor. He became nervous. Suddenly, a projection of the frog monster appeared in front of him, and he fell to the ground in fear. The examiner reassured him, saying, "This is just a simulation of the frog. You have to attack it so we can assess your magical power." Ko attacked the frog, but he was very weak and got thrown out of the arena, ending up in the regular class. The test continued, with most students being placed in regular classes. Then, a student named Chun entered, full of enthusiasm to fight the frog monster. He attacked with great power and made it into the elite class. The test continued, but only a few students made it into the elite ranks. Next, Sun's name appeared on the screen, and the students cheered her on. She entered the room and attacked the frog with incredible strength, setting a new record and securing her spot in the elite class. As she walked out to the cheers of the students, Wong stepped forward. The students mocked him, saying, "He's the weakest student in school. There's no need for this test. He's definitely going to the regular class." As soon as Wong entered the room, the atmosphere shifted. The frog recognized him and became terrified. The scene flashed back to the past, to the moment when Joe attacked the frog. At that time, the frog had actually struck Joe, knocking him to the ground and was about to finish him off. But at the last moment, Wong appeared, kicked the frog, and defeated it completely, all because it had annoyed him and stopped him from eating his noodles. Back in the present, the frog was trembling in fear and begged Wong not to come near it, saying that another hit would be the end of it. It was revealed that Wong was incredibly powerful but pretended to be weak because he didn't like standing out, especially since his strength was on an unimaginable level. As Wong prepared to strike, his power surged, obliterating the frog simulation completely. The screens in the room burned out, leaving the students unable to see what had happened. When the screens came back, the students were in shock. Wong had defeated the frog completely, entered the elite class, and even set a new world record. The scene shifted to the elite class, where the teacher, Pan, introduced herself. She began the first lesson on summoning magic, demonstrating a spell that summoned a giant fish. The students took turns trying, but most ended up summoning ridiculous creatures. Later, the students gathered around Sun, who had summoned a skeletal dog, which impressed everyone. The teacher then turned to Wong and said, "Aren't you going to try? Do you need me to explain the spell again?" Wong gave it a shot, shocking everyone by summoning the frog monster itself. Even the frog was horrified, exclaiming, "Why are you after me? Leave me alone." The students panicked and ran, but the teacher assured them she would handle it. She cast a spell, transforming the frog into a green pet dog. Afterward, the students gathered around the dog, admiring it. Meanwhile, Wong quietly left the classroom and walked away. The scene shifts back to the past, to the moment of Wong's birth. His father was anxiously waiting outside the operating room. The nurse came out, looking shocked and unable to speak. The father panicked, fearing something had happened to the baby, and started crying. But then the nurse, still in shock, told him that the baby had come out walking on his own. At that moment, the father saw Wang standing in front of him and fainted in disbelief. The next morning, both parents stood beside Wang. The father had brought him a toy sword, a rare and expensive limited edition. The mother said she had spent 3 days searching online before she finally found it. Wang, however, showed no interest at all, while his parents were very excited. At that moment, Wang revealed his special ability, the power to read minds. He discovered that his father had bought the sword because he had wanted it for a long time but had finally found an excuse to purchase it. The same applied to his mother. She had spent 3 days searching for a fake version of the sword to save money, thinking that spending it on something else would be a better choice. His father handed him the sword, but Wang imagined all the problems that could arise if the sword broke in his hands due to his overwhelming magical strength. He quickly searched for a solution and realized the only way out was to act like a normal baby. The problem was solved, and his parents got distracted, completely forgetting about the sword. Over time, Wang discovered that he possessed immense magical powers, but he decided to keep it all a secret, even from his own family. 5 years later, when Wang was 6, the story returned to the moment he had defeated the frog monster. His parents were watching him at that moment, unable to believe what they were seeing. Afterward, his father took him aside and decided to make a special seal to suppress his magical power so no one would discover it. He successfully applied it, and his mother gave Wang a golden energy pill, claiming it was a nutritional supplement. In reality, it was meant to weaken his spiritual energy. But Wang had known this all along and never actually took the pill. His parents constantly worried about him. His mother recalled all the problems that had happened because of his extraordinary power, like when he nearly set the house on fire at his birthday party while blowing out the candles, or when he was 10 and accidentally sent the kids flying while playing with them, simply because the tag on his back controlling his power had come off. She only wanted Wang to live a normal life. The next day, Wang went to school. That day, class elections were taking place. Chun nominated himself and was supported by Gu, while Sun also ran, backed by all the girls in the school. However, the crowded area was uncomfortable for Wang, so he decided to find a quieter spot. At that moment, he spotted crispy noodles at the school shop and rushed over to buy them. But Sun's bodyguard had already bought everything in the store and was distributing it to students for free, on the condition that they vote for Sun in the elections. The students got annoyed and left, but Chun confronted Sun about her actions, accusing her of cheating. She simply replied that she was only helping the students. Everyone was surprised when Wang suddenly called out to Sun, saying he would vote for her in exchange for the noodles. He cast his vote and took the noodles, inspiring the other students to follow his lead. At that moment, Sun activated her charm skill on all the students, and it worked perfectly. As she walked away, she realized that Wang was missing. She asked her bodyguard about him, and he told her that Wang had left a while ago, leaving behind the golden orb, a ball of energy. Later, everyone returned to class, where the teacher was explaining the charm spell. All the students were still under Sun's spell, except for Wang, who remained unaffected. Sun grew anxious, fearing someone would expose her magic. She glanced at Wang just as he told her not to take the pill her bodyguard had given her. She thought he was trying to help and assumed he was encouraging her to take the pill. So she swallowed it, which greatly weakened her magical power, breaking the spell on all the students. The teacher then asked Sun to explain the spell to the class. She stood up but felt dizzy and tripped over a bottle on the floor, falling forward. Just before she hit the ground, Wang caught her at the last second. The teacher then called on Wang, saying, "Come, you explain the spell instead." Wang let go of Sun and performed the spell. Afterward, the teacher announced that Chun had won the elections, and Chan and Gu were overjoyed. Later, in his office, the teacher reported everything that had happened at school concerning Wang to someone on the phone. He expressed how impressed he was by Wang's intelligence and strength. At that moment, it was revealed that the person on the phone was Joe. Meanwhile, Sun was unknowingly under the influence of Wang's magic. She searched for him online, growing increasingly curious about him. Frustrated, she couldn't understand why she kept thinking about him so much. The next day, all the students were excited, bringing their magical furnaces for the lesson on crafting magic orbs. At that moment, Chun entered with a massive copper furnace, claiming it was his grandfather's, the one he had used to create level 9 energy orbs. Just then, Sun arrived at school. Chun walked over to greet her, but she ignored him and instead called out to Wang, embarrassing Chun greatly. Wang noticed that his magic was affecting Sun, so he decided to get closer and cancel the spell. The moment he walked away, Sun turned red with embarrassment and collapsed to the ground. The students then went to class, where the teacher, Pan, explained the process of crafting magic orbs. The students eagerly began their experiments. Gu had a new, highly advanced device with incredible features for making magic orbs, and it was revealed that he was actually a spirit being. Suddenly, Chen's copper furnace exploded due to excessive power, and he started crying because he had destroyed his grandfather's furnace, fearing that his father would kill him if he found out. The other students continued working. The teacher informed them that the orbs would take 7 hours to be ready, so they all left, leaving their furnaces behind. As soon as the students were gone, the frog dog tricked them out of the classroom and sneaked inside. It attempted to swallow Gu's spirit furnace. Wong followed it and found the furnace inside the frog dog's mouth. The creature ran away from Wong, but he eventually caught it and retrieved the furnace. Meanwhile, Chun was still running on the track, recalling the moment he had asked his father for the furnace. His father had eventually agreed but warned him, if you don't win first place, you know what will happen to you. Back with Wong, he was washing the furnace when Gu caught him and got angry. Wong calmly said, I can explain everything to you right now. Wong explained everything that had happened, but in the end, Gu didn't believe him. He pulled out his gun, took the furnace from Wong, and fired a strange substance at him. At that moment, Chun was standing behind Wong and got hit instead. He collapsed, unconscious, and his body started changing color. Gu panicked, growing even more nervous as Wong grabbed Chun, and they rushed to fix the magic orbs and find a way to help him. Gu tried multiple times but failed, eventually leaving it to Wong and saying, I'll handle anyone who comes in. Gu went outside and attempted to stall the teacher and the students, but the teacher entered anyway. She inspected Gu's furnace and found a perfect orb inside. Gu was stunned, realizing that Wong must have secretly helped him by placing a perfect orb in his furnace. Then, the teacher turned to Wong's furnace and found a defective orb inside. Gu felt deeply grateful to Wong for sacrificing his own success for him. Meanwhile, Wong was secretly hiding Chun inside his copper furnace. In reality, it was Gu's orb that had become perfect after Wong had washed the furnace. From the start, Wong's orb had always been defective. Later, Gu and Wong took Chun to the garden, where he finally woke up. Gu smiled and said, You're finally awake. Chun looked behind him at his furnace. Gu said, We fixed your furnace, too. Chun was overjoyed. In the end, he thanked them, apologized to Wong, and started crying. The next day at school, Sun approached Wong. While she was talking to him, a group of assassins was targeting her, with one of them aiming a sniper rifle at her. At that moment, Sun asked Wong to be her friend and invited him to go out with her in the evening. It was revealed that Sun was in danger of being assassinated by a major criminal organization. Just as the sniper was about to pull the trigger, the sniper was shocked, trembling in fear. At that moment, the teacher entered the classroom, and all the students returned to their seats. The teacher then called Wong to follow him to his office, and soon, news of Wong and Sun's friendship spread throughout the school. Wong entered the teacher's office, where Joe was already waiting. The teacher introduced Joe to Wong and said he had a question he wanted to ask him. Joe greeted Wong, and then the teacher left the two of them alone. As soon as the door closed, Joe asked, Aren't you the little boy who defeated the giant frog 10 years ago? Back then, everyone believed that I was the one who defeated the monster. Suddenly, Joe knelt before Wong and said, I have been searching for you for years. The moment I witnessed your incredible power, I was determined to find you and become your loyal servant. At that moment, Wong was annoyed that Joe had discovered him, so he decided to use the forgetfulness trick on him. Then Wong left the room. Meanwhile, Wong sat to the side, taking out his crispy noodles, ready to eat. But then, the dog frog approached him and warned him, there are assassins in the school. The next morning, Wong woke up, brushed his teeth, and looked out the window, only to be shocked to see Sun waiting for him outside. To his surprise, his parents already knew about Sun and even encouraged him to befriend her. Suddenly, Wong found himself dressed and ready, as his parents had prepared him without him realizing it. They pushed him outside to meet Sun. Reporters were everywhere, and even the assassins were watching the scene. Their leader ordered them to follow Sun until they found the right opportunity to kill her. Meanwhile, in the car, Sun told Wong, Today, I'm taking you to an exclusive place called Heavenly Paradise. It's actually a real estate project owned by my family, combining economy and urban renewal. Wong was surprised to see that the place was completely empty. Sun explained, I told him I wanted to spend the day here with you, so he cleared it of all people just for today. Sun was excited, but at that moment, the assassins had infiltrated the area through the tourist entrance, eliminating the guards. Their leader ordered them, if you don't kill Sun this time, don't bother returning to headquarters. Meanwhile, Sun and Wong were exploring the breathtaking locations, as a tour guide explained the historical site in front of them. The assassins saw their chance and one of them fired a bullet at Sunday. But Wong noticed just in time, caught the bullet with his mouth, and threw it back at the assassin, instantly taking him down. Later, they got on the Ferris wheel, admiring the stunning view from above. The assassins also boarded, watching Sun and Wong closely. But this time, Joe noticed them and immediately realized Sun was in danger. As the Ferris wheel reached its highest point, the assassins climbed into Sun and Wong's Wong's cabin, pointing their guns at them. Sun confronted them, saying, "You're from the Dark Syndicate, aren't you?" One of the assassins smirked, impressive. "You're quite sharp." Just as he was about to reveal more, their leader cut him off, yelling, "Idiot, she's trying to extract information from you." Sun then stepped forward and said, "I'm the one you're after. Let Wong begged, please don't kill me." But Wong grabbed him too, threw him off, then unleashed a fiery eagle attack, turning him into fireworks that lit up the sky. At that moment, the gang leader was sitting with her subordinates, telling them that the mission had failed once again and that Sun was still alive, which meant their client was not pleased with the situation. The assassin who had failed to kill her reported that research indicated a very powerful man was always protecting her. The leader grew furious, unleashed her magical energy, and eliminated him on the spot. She then addressed the rest of the gang, saying, "Since the founding of the Dark Syndicate, our mission success rate has always been 100%. We have always been at the top, but this is the first time we have been humiliated like this. We must kill her immediately. Do you understand?" The next day, the Dark Syndicate continued monitoring the school. As Sun arrived, they noticed that Wong was with her again. Wong met up with his friends, who looked around and asked, "Did we do something wrong or what?" Sun asked, "Why do you say that?" He pointed out, "Because your bodyguards have completely surrounded us." Sun was confused. Then the teacher approached and said she was still in danger, so she would remain under protection. Sun told the teacher, "But Wong and I had fun yesterday at Heavenly Paradise, and we didn't see any assassins or anything." Joe then appeared and explained, "That's because I dealt with the assassins first." The scene flashed back to the previous evening, as Sun and Wong were heading home. Joe, along with the mages and Sun's guards, intercepted them. Sun bid farewell to Wong and left with her guards. At that moment, Wong told Joe, "Remember, you were the one who took care of the assassins, okay?" Joe nodded. "Understood." Then Wong walked away. Back in the present, Joe continued, "I secretly eliminated the assassins who were targeting Sun, but the problem is that this only angered the syndicate even more. They've sent a message. They will kill her no matter what." Joe reassured everyone, "Don't worry. I've arranged the strongest security possible." The school was soon filled with heavy security measures, making it extremely guarded. However, the assassins were everywhere, still attempting to kill Sunday. They infiltrated the school from underground, silently taking out the guards one by one. One of them, named Shu, from the Hammer unit of the Dark Syndicate, led the attack. But Joe detected their infiltration. The teacher tried to calm the students, thinking they were panicking, but in reality, they were completely unbothered. Meanwhile, another assassin had reached the upper floors and released a strange gas. It was poisonous. He swiftly eliminated all the remaining guards in seconds. His name was Ping, the second-ranked member of the Hammer unit. Shu yelled at Ping, "This mission was supposed to be stealthy. Now you've let everyone know we're here." Ping smirked, "Just eliminate everyone, and no one will ever know we were here." Shu sighed, "And what do you expect me to do? Every single guard is chasing me right now." At that moment, the bulky teacher charged at Ping, attacking him, but Ping effortlessly dodged the attack. Meanwhile, another assassin, the number 1 ranked member of the Hammer unit, Jian, who specialized in stealth, decided to strike. He prepared to attack the room where Sun was hiding, wielding his massive war hammer. Just then, Wong received a notification on his phone. It said he had won a free box of crispy noodles, which would be delivered to him via drone at any moment. Meanwhile, the students watched the fight between Ping and the bulky teacher. Ping launched a devastating attack, but his weapon shattered as the teacher effortlessly blocked it. The students were amazed by the teacher's strength. At that exact moment, Wong received a delivery confirmation message. At the same time, Ping activated his poison gas and forced the teacher to retreat. The teacher scowled. "Cowards like you always resort to cheap tricks like poison." Ping smirked and turned to flee. "Goodbye, old man. I finally completed my mission." Suddenly, Wong opened the door, and Ping ran straight into it, knocking himself out. Wong sighed, "Sorry, but I'm in a hurry." Then he walked off to collect his crispy noodles. Sun tried to stop Wong, but Joe reassured her he'll be fine. At that moment, the bulky teacher apprehended Ping. Jian realized that Ping had been taken down. He asked Shu about the situation. Shu confidently replied, "Everything is going according to plan. I've already eliminated all the guards below." But suddenly, the frog dog appeared in front of Shu. Thinking it was just a harmless pet, Shu tried to play with it. However, the creature absorbed all of Shu's spiritual energy, turning him into an old man. Then, the frog dog transformed back into its original frog form and finished off Shu completely. quietly. Jian grew anxious. I'm the only one left. I have to finish this mission quickly. At that moment, Wang arrived on the rooftop. Jian panicked for a moment but then reassured himself. It's just a student. Good, he doesn't see me. He's only here to collect a package. Wang picked up the oversized box of crispy noodles and turned back inside. Then he casually said, Jian, I was actually talking to you. I'm sorry to say this, but your assassination attempt has failed. Jian was furious. He roared and charged at Wang with his full strength, swinging his massive hammer with everything he had. But the opposite happened. The hammer shattered instantly. Jian collapsed, bleeding from everywhere. The syndicate leader received a notification that the entire hammer unit had been defeated. Wang then grabbed Jian, and as he was leaving, Zhou stopped him and said, You defeated them all effortlessly, as always. Wang sighed, then used the forgetfulness trick on Zhou again. No, you defeated them, he corrected. Afterward, they handed the captured assassins over to the authorities. Wang then pretended to be injured, acting dramatically in front of everyone. Soon, the news spread everywhere, celebrating the heroic Zhou, who had supposedly saved the school from a deadly assassin attack. The next day, Wang pretended to be sick. Sun had even built a healing chamber for him to recover quickly. Then, Wang's mother entered and told him it was time for lunch, so he got up to eat. She asked, How long are you going to keep pretending you're sick? It's been 10 days, and you're still acting ill and skipping school. At that moment, Wang's friends arrived to visit him, so he quickly went back to pretending to be sick again. His friends looked at him and said, You're still lying in bed? Then, Gu introduced his parrot. It was actually his pet. Suddenly, Sun remembered that she had forgotten the frog dog outside the door. They brought it to Wang, and his mother thanked his friends for taking care of him at school. Sun then presented a collection of powerful elixirs, nutritional pills, and even energy-boosting injections, all manufactured by her family's company, to help Wang recover faster. Everyone was shocked by the sheer amount of items she had brought. Sun was deeply worried about Wang and asked, Do you really feel better? Last time you were on the ground, injured. Wang reassured her, Don't worry, I feel a lot better. Chun smirked and said, Sun was so worried about you that she even called a helicopter from her family for emergency treatment. It was revealed that when Wang had been pretending to be injured, he had seen how truly concerned Sun was, even crying over him. Then, Chun stood up and said, The teacher told me to give you this bracelet for the midterm exam. Sun was furious. These exams drain Wang's spiritual power. They decided to give Wang the injection to help him recover instantly. Wang panicked, quickly jumped up, grabbed the bracelet and said, Actually, I've been feeling much better these past few days. I was going to tell you in 2 days anyway. Chun then opened a message from the bracelet and measured his spiritual power. It showed a value of 600. At that moment, a huge number of students were using the bracelets to measure their spiritual power. Meanwhile, at another school, a group of students was also testing their power levels during an important meeting. One student was so strong that his power placed him at the top of the national ranking among the top 10 students. His name was Tang. Back with Wang's friends, Gu tested his power, but it was quite weak, only 175. Then, Sun tried, and her results were astonishing. Her power level was 3,952, ranking her second. Next, it was Wang's turn. When he measured his power, the result was overwhelmingly high, leaving everyone in shock. Realizing this, he quickly moved the orb elsewhere to avoid destroying the house. The system then displayed his power as 0, confusing everyone. They asked, Where did Wang's energy orb go? In reality, a gigantic orb, as large as the sun, had appeared above the planet. Soon, everyone discovered that Wang was now ranked first, with an unmeasurable power value. After that, Wang's friends said their goodbyes and left. That night, Wang and Gu sat together, trying to hack the system to change their rankings. At the same time, Yang and Bai were also hacking the system, checking if everything was normal or if Wang was truly that powerful. Unfortunately, none of them could penetrate the system, as the security and encryption were at an extremely high level. Wang then tried, typing 8 asterisks. Suddenly he gained access. Bai immediately noticed that someone else had breached the system and was modifying the data. Gu adjusted his results. Yang asked Bai, Who's the hacker? Bai replied, Some idiot. If he keeps messing with the system this much, he'll trigger the alarm soon with this stupidity. Yang warned, If they find out what we're doing, we'll be expelled from school. In the end, Gu accidentally triggered the alarm. He and Bai quickly exited the system, barely escaping before they were caught. Bai then told the students, Next month, we might meet Sun and Wang in the Spirit Sword tournament. Tang smirked and said, Oh, we'll definitely meet them. And when we do, I will crush them for sure. Then, the results of the strength test for the farmers appear, and the teacher tells Teacher Ban that Wang is in first place. The teacher is shocked and asks if the system made a mistake. The teacher replies, You studied in the elite class. Tell me, what do you think about this? The teacher thinks and says that Wang's level is a bit different from from his classmates, and he is always silent, so how did he come first internationally? The teacher says, this time we have 2 students who ranked first internationally, but there's a problem. Our school, Faction 60, is up against Faction 59. Teacher Ban is shocked and says, why are we facing the strongest school in the first round? He replies, that's because Wang and Sun raised our ranking this year. Teacher Ban says, we faced Faction 59 about 24 times, lost 23, and had 1 draw. The teacher responds, you're right, and that draw happened when Mr. Gu, our school's genius, was still a student. Then Gu replies, I have a feeling we will have a very interesting competition this year. We might see unexpected results. The chubby teacher says, we need to decide who will participate in this competition. Teacher Ban tells them, I don't know how you all are so calm. Meanwhile, the students of Faction 59 are training in the diverse environment training field. The journalists are interviewing Tang, and the reporter asks, what preparations are you making for the Spirit Sword competition? He replies, we are fully prepared, and our students have undergone rigorous training for a month to achieve the best results in the competition. Tang then gives a very impressive and passionate speech that catches the attention of all viewers, even the reporter. The reporter asks, what message do you want to send to your competitors from Faction 60? Tang replies, I challenged the princess in the sword competition, and I hope she shows us the power of her family. The reporter then asks, and what do you say to Wong, the first-ranked student internationally? Tang gets very annoyed. The reporter continues, that was probably a system error. I was just asking if you wanted to say anything to him. Tang replies, I wish him luck in his training. At that moment, the teacher and Mr. Gu finish selecting the team that will compete in the tournament. Teacher Mao asks them, are you sure about this? All the students in the competition are at the top international level. Yes, Sun is first class, but the rest. Gu interrupts her and says, I trust your teaching quality, and tricks her into agreeing. However, she tells them that they are still missing 1 student. The teacher reassures her, don't worry. Mr. Gu and I discussed the matter and presents the 5th member, a frog dog. They let the frog dog take the strength test, put the bracelet on it, and start the exam. Gu cheers for the frog dog, saying, if you score 5,000, I'll let you out of the lock this time. The dog gets excited and scores 5,000 points, becoming 2nd in rank after Wong. Then, a group of students from Tang's class comes and tells him that someone has surpassed him in spiritual strength. He learns that it's a spirit beast, a frog dog. Tang gets even more irritated. Meanwhile, Gu is discussing everything with the teachers, and they finalize all the details. At the end of the school day, Sun says goodbye to her friends and leaves, while they also head home. The chubby teacher is at a restaurant eating, then calls the 4 students along with the frog dog and congratulates them for being selected for the upcoming competition. The students celebrate their participation and start showing each other their spirit swords. At that moment, the principal of Faction 59 calls Tang and asks, are you ready for the competition? He replies, yes, I have collected all the students' swords to examine them thoroughly. She tells him, alright, but they are only 4 students. He replies, that's because the 5th person is dangerous. The teacher is shocked and says, are you seriously taking this risk and using that guy? Aren't you afraid of the consequences that might happen in the competition? Tang replies, there's no way we will lose this year, looking very determined. She tells him, alright, do whatever you want. Tang says, I will never let Faction 60 win the competition, and leaves. Then, it is revealed that the person he wants to bring in is Yang, who is nothing more than a thug that uses his power to harm others. At that moment, the news reports that the 7 magic powers have finally captured the Shadow Gang after discovering their main hideout for the first time. Later, Gu arrives, and reporters gather around him to get a statement. He tells them, I have faced the Shadow Group twice in my life and always managed to foil their plans, but this time, the situation is exceptional. He then addresses the organization's leader, saying he is eager to meet her again. The leader hears his words, gets furious, and smashes the screen. Meanwhile, Wong is watching the news with his family at home. Wong suddenly asks, where is my sword? His father is surprised and asks, what sword? Then Wong goes to the storage room, searches the box, and at that moment, a small boy pops out of it. Wong quickly pushes him back inside, looks at his phone, and finds a message from the teacher saying they will go to school 59 tomorrow. At that moment, the power control card on Wong's back malfunctions. The next day, Wong shows his sword to his friends, who are surprised that it's just an ordinary small wooden sword, but the frog dog senses an immense power from it, as usual with Wong. Then, the teachers arrive and inform the students that the competition will last 5 days, meaning they will be staying overnight. Are you all ready? The chubby teacher then asks Wong, is that the sword you will use in the competition? He looks surprised, but in reality, Wong hasn't prepared anything at all because he plans to pretend to be sick and not participate in the competition. The students board the bus to head to the competition. At that moment, a member of the magic squad squad informs Gu that they have captured the Shadow Gang's leader. He rushes to see her and asks, "Are you sure it's her?" He enters the cell, sees her, and steps closer, saying, "Finally, we meet." But it turns out to be a trap. A bomb puppet explodes, destroying the entire area. The leader watches from afar and says, "What do you think of my gift, Teacher Gu?" She is also watching the bus heading to the tournament, revealing that everything had been her plan from the start. Even the capture of the main hideout was a setup to make them take the explosive puppet as if it were her. As for the plan to eliminate Miss Sun, the leader decides to execute it personally this time. At that moment, the boy who is actually Wong's sword wakes up and tries to get out, but Wong keeps pushing him back inside. The boy gets annoyed, and Wong tells him, "Didn't we agree yesterday? You're not supposed to appear at all. At the end of the day, I'll give you crispy noodles." Later, Wong's team arrives at School 59, where the students and the principal are waiting to welcome them. It is then revealed that Teacher Ban and Principal Sure used to be close friends from Faction 59 and were even roommates. Unfortunately, they are now rivals. Principal Sure keeps provoking Teacher Ban, and they keep throwing verbal jabs at each other as if it were World War III. At that moment, Wong prepares to act as if he has a stomachache to withdraw from the tournament. Meanwhile, Principal Sure is preparing a strong attack and strikes Wong. Wong is shocked but quickly pretends to be injured. His classmates and teachers become concerned about him. At that moment, the leader watches from afar. Suddenly, a malfunction occurs in the card controlling Wong's power, unleashing an enormous energy. Everyone is stunned by Wong's overwhelming strength. Wong turns to his sword spirit and asks, "Why didn't you tell me earlier that my talisman had a problem?" The sword replies, "I tried to tell you several times on the bus, but you kept stopping me." At that moment, Wong's power becomes unstable. If he doesn't take the pill to suppress his energy immediately, his health will deteriorate completely. Principal Sure says, "This kid is very talented at acting." Sun gets angry and yells, "His condition is critical because of you. Do you even realize the situation you're in?" Principal Sure looks confused and says she didn't do anything to deserve such a reaction. She then asks Tang, "Did you do something?" He looks up and replies, "Maybe the dangerous person is the one who caused this." But in reality, he had nothing to do with it. He was just watching from a distance. Wong is actually fooling everyone, taking full advantage of the situation. At that moment, the leader receives a report that her assassination attempt on Gu has failed. It turns out he managed to stop the plan at the last moment due to his extremely fast reflexes. The leader decides to withdraw. Meanwhile, the medical team from School 59 arrives and takes Wong for a checkup. Thus, Wong's plan succeeds for now. At that moment, the nurses take Wong to the clinic and Sun follows them, but Tang stops her and says, "Sun, do you remember me? I'm Tang. We were in school together before. I am now the president of the student union in Faction 59. If you don't mind." Sun cuts him off angrily and says, "Get out of my way now." She is about to hit him when Bai stops her. Tang then tells her that Bai is the secretary of the student union at the school. Chun tries to help Sun, but other students from Faction 59 stop him, saying, "Are you trying to start a fight now?" Sun replies to Yang, "Do you know why I joined Faction 60? Because Faction 59 is full of trash like you." Yang says, "I know why you're not interested in me, because Wong is here, but don't worry about him, he's safe in Faction 59. I guarantee you he'll be fine." Before Yang can finish his sentence, Wong suddenly bursts into flames. At that moment, Principal Sure arrives and quickly heals him, taking him to the medical room. Yang sarcastically comments, "What just happened? Did he burn himself with magic or something?" Sun immediately draws her sword and is about to strike Yang, who is terrified, but the chubby teacher quickly stops her, saying, "Calm down, use your sword in the competition only." Teacher Ban tells Principal Sure, "You should control your students better." Yang apologizes to the principal and admits, "This was all my fault." Then Principal Sure tells everyone, "Come with me to the sports hall so we can discuss the competition." Meanwhile, the dangerous boy is actually the one who set Wong on fire. Wong is taken to the medical room where the nurse asks what happened to him. They tell her he was burned with magic. However, Wong is no longer inside the wrap that Principal Sure had covered him with. He is now exploring the school. He calls his father at that moment and tells him that the talisman is broken and asks him to wait outside the school to bring him a new one. His father immediately grabs his flying sword and rushes to Wong. Meanwhile, everyone else arrives at the sports hall. The students are amazed by the size of the hall and how incredible it looks, but the students from Faction 59 mock them. At that moment, Principal Sure explains the competition rules to the students. It will be a 5v5 match across 5 different environmental arenas. The goal is to insert their spirit sword into the stone structure structure to earn a point. Whoever controls all 5 structures scores 100%, winning the competition. Meanwhile, Wong is still wandering around the school when his sword spirit asks, "Did you lose your way?" Wong replies, "Yeah, I think so, but I can't use my spiritual energy or I'll end up destroying something." The sword tells him, "I can sense an exit nearby." Wong finds the exit, and at that moment, Yang announces that Faction 60's team does not meet the minimum number of members, meaning they should be disqualified. Sun yells, "Aren't you the one who injured Wong?" Then Gu interjects, "Can't you count? Look at your team, you're also only 4. Yang smirks and says, "Our 5th member has been here all along." Suddenly, a water-based magical attack is launched at Faction 60 students, but they dodge it quickly. The dangerous boy appears, moving at incredible speed. He hands a flower to Sun, but she refuses and asks, "Why would I take this from you? I don't even know you." He replies, "You don't need to know me. No one does. But if you accept this flower, I will help you take down Leader Yang and his team. What do you think?" Principal Shi gets angry and yells, "Are you betraying us?" The boy responds, "I don't care. There's a huge gap in power between the teams, so this will balance things out." At that moment, Chun attacks the boy, shouting, "Get your hands off Sun now." The boy counters with a deadly attack, sending Chun flying far away. He then keeps striking him until he slams him into the ground. Everyone is stunned by his strength, but Chun refuses to give up and gets back on his feet. This only angers the boy more, and he launches another attack, aiming to finish off Chun. But just before he lands the final blow, Wong suddenly appears and rescues Chun. It is then revealed that the world is still in danger because if Wong's talisman explodes, his energy will be unleashed, which would destroy everything. At that moment, Wong's father calls him and says he is outside and that Wong needs to come out. Wong replies, "I'm busy right now, I can't come out," and hangs up. The dangerous boy gets furious at Wong and attacks him, but Wong dodges effortlessly and continues walking as if nothing happened. Sun checks on him at that moment, and Wong hands her a flower. Wong's sword spirit gets extremely irritated with the boy and tells Wong, "Finish off that fool, master." Wong replies, "Shut up and stay put." Then Principal Shi tells the students, "Since everyone is here, please proceed to the preparation room." Meanwhile, the leader of the Shadow Gang successfully infiltrates Faction 59 school, disguised as a student, and is observing everything without being detected. At that moment, Mr. Gu discovers the leader's plan and rushes toward Faction 59 school. Back with the students, they are heading to the preparation room, but Wong doesn't join them, saying he needs to buy crispy noodles with potato flavor. The leader is watching and thinks, "This is finally my chance." But she is suddenly surprised by the dangerous boy standing behind her. He has caught her and says, "Stop acting. You're not from Faction 59. He tries to befriend her foolishly and even insults her, calling her an old lady. She gets enraged and beats him up brutally. Meanwhile, Wong gets his noodles and heads back to his team, only to find that the leader has tied up the boy and hung him up. Then, the leader takes the evil boy and Wong, both tied up, and throws them onto the rooftop because they discovered her plan. She has an old man assisting her in the school and tells him to keep a close watch on them. The old man tells her those two are still in the foundation stage. They can't do anything. The dangerous boy struggles to free himself and resists, suffering greatly from the magical ropes, while Wong remains completely unbothered. The leader says that Wong seems special since Sun cared about him a lot at the school gate. She then stomps on him and kicks him forcefully. At that moment, Wong's magic sword is asleep, unaware of what's happening. When it finally wakes up, it looks around confused and asks Wong, "What got you tied up like this, master?" Meanwhile, the other boy is in severe pain as the old man absorbs his soul energy, finishing him off completely. At the same time, Wong's control talisman is completely destroyed. The sword tells Wong that from now on, he must rely on himself. Then, the leader strikes Wong and tells him, "You are from Class 5, which means you will always be useless." Suddenly, Wong is about to lose control due to his anger. His sword tries to wake him up, but there is no response. In the end, it finally succeeds by telling him there's a 50% discount on crispy noodles. At that moment, the old man takes a strand of hair from the dangerous boy, so the leader can use it to disguise herself and carry out her plan to eliminate Sun. Meanwhile, all the students and teachers are in the meeting room when the dangerous boy suddenly bursts in, shouting that there's a big problem. It is revealed that the leader is actually disguised as him. He tells them that Wong has been kidnapped. However, the old man is still holding the real two captive on the rooftop, watching over them. The old man tells them, "As long as you stay quiet, the leader will free you immediately after she kills Miss Sun." The dangerous boy says, "I've always wanted to join the Shadow Gang. If you untie me, I'll tell you everything I know." The old man smirks and says, "You're a very smart boy. My leader will be very pleased with you. But unfortunately, only the leader can deal with the immortal ropes, so you'll have to stay put until she gets here." The boy then says, "I heard that the Shadow Gang uses numbers to classify their members. You seem impressive. What's your number? The old man laughs and says, I don't have a number. I'm just the leader's driver. The boy laughs and says, looks like the Shadow Gang is short on skilled members if they let someone like you handle the mission in the end. At that moment, the old man gets furious and launches a massive flaming arrow from the sky at him. The boy is terrified and panics. Wong's sword spirit says that driver has immense spiritual power, but he's hiding it. Meanwhile, the leader continues acting in disguise, pretending to be the boy while telling the others how she captured Wong's heart. Gu begins to gather descriptions of the leader to confirm if the person being described is indeed the leader. The boy confirms, yes, it's her. Gu then announces to everyone, the one who kidnapped Wong is the leader of the shadows. Then, Yang asks Bai to track Wong's location, and she reports that his spiritual signal is extremely weak. At that moment, the guard sees Sun and restrain her, saying, I will send a security team since we must act quickly. Miss Sun's safety is our top priority. I hope you all understand that. Gu says, indeed, Sun is still the Shadow Gang's target, so we must take our precautions. Principal Sure then says, this is a problem. Since Faction 60's team is still missing members, they can't participate in the competition. At that moment, Sun fights off her guards and frees herself. She tells Gu, we are the Flowers of Virtue group. She declares that she doesn't care about the competition. What matters is saving Wong. Her team gets fired up, drawing their swords. The head guard is very proud of her, seeing how much she has grown, becoming brave and making her own decisions. Sun and her guards set off to rescue Wong. Principal Sure tells Tang and his team, watch them closely in the real battle to observe their actual performance. Do not interfere unless absolutely necessary. Meanwhile, the old man is still on the rooftop, listening to music and dancing. At that moment, the boy calls out to Wong and says, I know you're hiding your true power. But the boy is shocked to see Wong sound asleep, completely unaware of what's happening. The sword keeps trying to wake Wong up, and eventually, Wong wakes up. As the old man finishes dancing to his song, he approaches them and says, now it's time to get back to business. The boy starts screaming and calling for help. At that moment, the old man strikes him with such force that he crashes through the ground, falling to the floor below. At the same time, Sun finds out where Wong is and gets closer to his location with her guards. She sees the old man lifting Wong high up, and the team rushes at full speed. Meanwhile, the leader is still chasing them in disguise, staying right behind Sunday. The team from Faction 59 is observing Faction 60's team. Bai tells Tang that dangerous boy is acting strange. Be careful of him. Tang rushes forward with his team and tells Bai, you keep an eye on him from behind. The old man attacks the guards and takes down many of them before they even reach him. They try to fight back, but none of their attacks land. The old man then unleashes the Golden Berry Strike and finishes them off with his devastating attack. Meanwhile, in the harbor control room, Wong's father is still standing outside the school, but the security guards continue to prevent him from entering. At that moment, the old man prepares another devastating move called the Yellow Palace's Hidden Treasure. The teachers watching are confused, unable to understand what he is doing. A massive army of knights emerges from the old man's magical power and charges at them. The chubby teacher yells at the students, telling them all to run immediately. Sun tries to block the old man's attack, and surprisingly, her strike succeeds, completely nullifying the attack with ease. Then, a fierce battle begins between the old man and Sunday. It's an intense fight. Suddenly, time rewinds back to the moment before the old man struck the boy. The same event happens again. The old man strikes the boy, sending him crashing to the floor below. The old man then looks at Wong, who now smiles at him. This time, the old man feels real fear. Sun and her guards rush again to reach Wong, but this time, they find the old man tied up instead, being lifted into the air by Gu, who tells them, I've already defeated the driver, so there's no problem anymore. Everyone is shocked. Reporters arrive and hold a press conference with Gu, who declares that he has successfully rescued the hostages. The leader, still disguised as the dangerous boy, is furious but remains undercover. She is extremely frustrated that she failed to eliminate Sun. At that moment, Yang approaches the disguised leader, places his hand on her shoulder, and says, why do you look so upset? Meanwhile, the magic officer asks Wong about the hole in the rooftop. Did that happen during the battle? Wong replies, no, it was already here when we arrived. At this point, the dangerous boy has completely disappeared from sight. Wong's magic sword is the one hiding the boy and asks Wong, don't you want them to rescue that guy? Wong replies, just stay next to him and watch him closely. Don't let him escape. The sword responds, alright, but what about the competition? Wong says, don't worry, the competition is already over. Then Wong goes down to his friends, who are all happy to see him. The competition begins the next day. Wong is carefully watching the boy, and the leader is puzzled about why Wong is still hiding the fact that she is in in disguise. She thinks to herself, he's probably just a beginner, that's why this is happening. The announcer explains the competition's rules and conditions to the students. The tournament is officially opened, and the reporters capture the event as usual. Wong, who was initially trying to avoid participating in the competition, is now excited and eager to play. The match begins, and each team moves to their designated location, assigned by the magic stone. Meanwhile, Wong's father rushes to reach him and apply the seal, but he is already too late. Teacher Ban approaches Wong's father and asks, "What are you doing here?" Gu greets him, and Teacher Ban is surprised to see that they know each other. Wong's father takes Gu aside and explains the issue with the talisman, saying it must be replaced immediately. Gu becomes extremely nervous. The competition begins, and Faction 59's team arrives at the Earth Arena. They search for the dangerous boy, but Bai says his power is now completely different from what was recorded in the files, so they can't pinpoint his location. Yang tells his team they must also be cautious if they encounter the dangerous boy, treating him as an enemy. At the same time, Faction 60's team also arrives at the arena, but each of them is in a different location. Chun is near the metal structure, Sun is at the water structure, and the dog is at the fire structure. It is then revealed that the dangerous boy is also at the fire structure. The team members ask where Wong is, and Bai replies that Wong's spiritual power is 0, so he is completely off the radar. They won't know his location until they see him. At that moment, Yang deduces that Wong must be in the south, the only area left. The team member rushes toward Wong, saying, "Leave him to me. I'll finish him off. The wood structure will be ours." At that moment, the fat boy on Yang's team asks about Gu, but no one answers him. Yang tells him, "Don't be impatient. We'll definitely run into him." They move forward, unaware that Gu is actually hiding behind a large rock right next to them. Suddenly, Yang strikes Gu with his sword, seemingly taking him out. He laughs and orders Bai to handle Chun at the metal structure while he heads to Sun at the water structure. It is then revealed that Gu escaped from Yang and is still in the game. He hasn't been eliminated. He observes the wild boy sprinting toward Wong at the wood structure and remarks that Faction 59 students are incredibly strong. He has already lost one of his 3 spirit entities in the game since the beginning. Suddenly, Faction 59's team captures one of the structures right at the start of the game. Chun gets excited and rushes toward the metal structure, but out of nowhere, he gets struck in the face for no apparent reason. He finally reaches the structure and asks, "How do I capture this?" Bai tells him, "Just insert your sword into the structure, and after 10 seconds, you'll control it." Chun thanks her and finally understands the process. Then Bai says, "What are you doing, Chun? That structure belongs to me. Step away from it." Chun replies, "Look, my family has a saying, men don't fight women. I'll let you attack me 3 times for free. Go ahead, quickly." Suddenly, he smirks and says, "Alright, your turn is over now." He doesn't understand what she did and asks, "Are you mocking me?" To his shock, she has set up a magical spider web everywhere. She can control his body with it effortlessly. He starts punching himself violently and doesn't understand what's happening. He yells, "When did you set up this dirty trick?" and continues to hit himself. Meanwhile, at the fire structure, the dog and the dangerous boy face off. The dog lunges at him, but he dodges the attack. Then, the dangerous boy prepares a powerful strike, but it has no effect on the dog. The dog then hides and takes a break. At the same time, the wild boy from Faction 59 reaches Wong at the wood structure and is shocked to find Wong lying on the ground as if he were dead. He rushes toward the structure to capture it first. At that moment, Wong hears the dog's voice and starts thinking of a devious plan to break his seal. Wong wakes up and stands up. The wild boy sees him and says, "Oh, you're still alive? Excellent." He is about to attack Wong when Gu suddenly strikes him with a word-based magic attack. However, the wild boy blocks Gu's strike. Gu thinks to himself, "Good, I arrived just in time." The wild boy then says to Gu and Wong, "Idiots will always be idiots no matter what." He then charges at them with immense power. A fierce battle begins between Gu and the wild boy, while Wong does absolutely nothing. Meanwhile, Sun inserts her sword into the water structure, starting the countdown to capture it. She thinks to herself, "I need to capture this quickly and then rush to Wong in case he's in trouble." Suddenly, Yang arrives and attacks her. She dodges his strike effortlessly. Then, Sun's sword transforms into spiritual energy in the form of a girl. Yang's sword also turns into a spiritual entity, taking the form of a warrior. Sun tells Yang, "You haven't changed at all. You're still just as cunning as ever." Yang replies, "And you haven't changed either, skilled as always. But this is just a meeting between old friends, right?" Sun shuts him down, saying, "You are not my friend at all." Yang laughs and says, "Alright, fine. Let's settle this once and for all. But you do realize that our families have had excellent relations for thousands of years? That bond won't break so easily." Sun yells, "Shut up," and launches a powerful powerful attack at him, but Yang dodges it. A fierce battle between their spirit swords begins. Yang taunts, if you want me to shut up, you'll have to defeat me first, right? At that moment, Sun realizes that Faction 59 has already captured 3 structures. It is revealed that the dangerous boy has taken control of the fire structure. Yang calls out to the dangerous boy, come to the water structure. There's someone who wants to meet you. The dangerous boy replies, alright. Sun is surprised that Yang's team knows the exact locations of all her teammates. Yang smirks and says, did you forget about Bai? She can track all of your team's movements. Sun realizes she must capture the water structure quickly. Yang grins and says, I know exactly what you're thinking. That's why you need to hurry. We're about to capture the final structure soon. Suddenly, Sun hears Chun screaming in pain. Bai has defeated him and he collapses from hitting himself too much. She has taken control of the metal structure. Sun gets furious and reverts her sword to its normal form, preparing to launch a powerful attack at Yang. She charges at him with full force, but Yang counters with his falling ice trick, freezing the entire area. He turns the entire battlefield into ice. Sun attacks with all her strength, but Yang's spirit sword blocks her effortlessly, making all her strikes useless. At that moment, the dangerous boy arrives at the battlefield and suddenly attacks Sun. She barely blocks his strike. She immediately senses danger and doesn't know what to do. The dangerous boy smirks and says, we meet again, Miss Sun. Sun considers using her water-based technique, but she realizes she can't. The river is already frozen by Yang. Suddenly, a massive disturbance shakes the river, confusing everyone. Sun takes advantage of the chaos. The ice on the river breaks, allowing her to disappear. Yang tells the dangerous boy she must be hiding. You find her, I'll capture the structure. Yang then says, I don't care who you are, but you must follow my orders. I'll help you get what you want in the end. The dangerous boy laughs and walks away. At that moment, Yang places his sword in the structure, and the countdown begins. He successfully captures it. But then, he is shocked to see that they have lost control of one of their structures. Faction 60 has taken it. Sun is now running underwater and hears Gusei, the dog, and Wong have fused together. Wong has become incredibly strong and a genius. Sun is shocked and thinks, I need to get to Wong immediately. Everyone is stunned that Wong has captured the wood structure by merging with the frog dog. And we go back in time to Go's fight with the savage boy. The boy gets exhausted from the attack of words, and Go also runs out of most of his words, not knowing what to do next. At that moment, the boy laughs and says, oh, have you run out of your dictionary or what? You fat, disgusting guy, shoot as many words at me as you want. In the end, I will still defeat you. Go gets nervous, unsure of what to do next. Just then, the dog arrives at their location and is shocked to see Wong sitting in front of him. He wonders how Wong got there. The savage boy passes by Wong and says, stay right there, you piece of trash. I'll come. In that moment, energy explodes from Wong's amulet, and the dog rushes to stop him before Wong destroys the world with his power. The dog tries to consume the energy radiating from Wong, and the savage boy is confused, saying, why is the dog biting his own companion? Everyone is stunned by what's happening and how they merged like that. Go asks Wong, tell me, what is this trick called? A human in a dog's form? The boy laughs loudly and says, that's just a dog and a crazy kid. What difference will it make if they merge? That kid is from category 5 anywhere, completely destroying it. The boy is in shock, unable to believe what's happening. Wong walks past him and says, excuse me, can you let me through? He then places his hand lightly on the boy's shoulder, disappearing among the stars. Go is overjoyed, but Wong says, let's take control of this structure first. Everyone is shocked by Wong's control over the wooden structure and his fusion with the dog, along with the incredible power that suddenly appeared. The director sure is surprised and asks the fat teacher, did you teach Wong how to merge with an animal? He takes the opportunity to boast and replies, of course. She then says, I want to learn it too, and pleads with him. When the Faction 59 team learns what happened, everyone is stunned, especially Yang, who is furious and in disbelief. Structures they control has suddenly dropped back to 1. But then, their number of controlled structures returns to 3 after they take over the metal structure. Chin, feeling excited, says, tell me quickly, how did you do all this? Wong smiles, happy to see his friends happy. Chin is thrilled that Wong is happy and smiles too. At that moment, Wong doesn't even know why he's happy. It's a feeling he's never experienced before. Meanwhile, his father watches him through the screen. He is the only one who understands the reason, and he sheds tears of joy. Wong and his team are shocked to find that they are suddenly controlling only 1 structure, while Faction 59 has taken control of 4 structures again. At that moment, moment, Wong understands Yang's plan and unleashes even greater power. He thinks about taking over all the structures immediately before Faction 59 can. Even the instructors are surprised by what Wong wants to do and say that even if Wong's speed helps him, there's no way he can surpass the 10-second limit required to complete control over a structure. I had to run quickly. Sun yells at them, "Shut up, Go did the right thing." The goal of this competition isn't to defeat the opponent. The idea is to take control of the structures. That's why we need to avoid unnecessary fights. Meanwhile, the dangerous boy stands bored at the earth structure, while Yang and Bai are at the wooden structure. At that moment, Bai tells Tang that she found Sun's location. Yang gets excited and says, "I still want to see all of Sun's tricks." Sun then comes up with an excellent strategy for her team, and they all agree on it. However, it depends on Chin standing his ground and defending the wooden structure with all his might, no matter what. Chin gets excited, knowing that he'll play a key role in this plan. They launch the plan, and Go and Sun attack the fire structure. Bai is shocked and quickly informs Yang. Yang thinks and realizes that the fire structure is the one farthest from them. He assumes that, and a fierce battle begins between them. At that moment, Yang tells the fat boy, "Both Go and Sun are at your location." But the fat boy replies, "No, only Go is in front of me, and I will finish him off." Go keeps provoking the fat boy, saying, "I was the one who took down your brother." This makes the fat boy even angrier. "So, you're the one who hurt my brother." His focus completely shifts. At that moment, Sun enters the fire cave to take control of the fire structure. "Fat boy, if you lose the fire structure, I will expel you from the student union. Do you understand?" At that moment, the fat boy notices Sun, and Go tries to provoke him. We go back in time to the first time Sun and Yang met through their families, and we learn that there has always been a strong rivalry between them. We return to the present, to the moment when Go attacked the fat boy, but the boy falls to the ground by himself, delaying Sun's attack instead of stopping him. The fat boy laughs at Go and says, "Thanks for the competition. I'll just finish the match first, and then I'll take revenge for my brother." Go apologizes to Sun. Sun remembers her grandfather's words, that she must never lose, especially not against the family that humiliated hers for 14 years by keeping them in confinement. She tells Go, "I'm fine," and then sees Yang arriving, now standing next to Go. Yang shouts at the fat boy, "You idiot, why are you hesitating like that? You're giving them the chance to take control of the structure." The fat boy quickly charges at Sun, and she faces him. Go tries to help again, saying he won't make the same mistake this time, attempting to stop him with earth magic. But unfortunately, the boy still gets past him and draws his magic sword. At the same time, Sun places her sword in the structure while attacking with the flying sword technique. The instructor and the director sure watch the battle from the screen. The director says, "Sun is the best one in Faction 60's team, but I still think she tries to outsmart her way to victory." Unfortunately for her, she has to place her sword by hand for the countdown to start. At the moment Sun holds the boy off, she runs quickly to touch the sword and place it with her hand to start the countdown. However, the spirit of Yang's magic sword attacks her sword and completely destroys it. Sun is shocked at that moment and quickly steps back. Yang tries to provoke her, saying, "You guys have no hope of winning." This puts Faction 60 in Faction 59's trap. At that moment, the dangerous boy says it's time to move from the stone structure to the metal structure. It's part of Faction 59's plan to always leave the earth structure empty as bait. Meanwhile, Bai is also watching Wong and has set up traps everywhere so that he gets injured the moment he moves. At the same time, Yang explains the strategy to Sun and Go, shocking Go, who says, "So, we've already lost no matter what?" At that moment, the dangerous boy reaches Chin, but Chin dodges all his attacks. The dangerous boy gets tired and frustrated, saying to Chin, "Are you just gonna keep running like a rat? Do you even consider yourself a real man? Or are you just a coward who runs away from everything?" Chin remembers his father training him, saying, "You're a coward. No one in our family is a coward. You're going to bring us shame." Chin cries and tells his father, "I don't want to train anymore. I don't want to be a kung fu master. I don't want to know anything about fighting anymore." We return to the present, where Chin keeps dodging the dangerous boy's attacks, thinking to himself, physical strength isn't the answer to everything. The leader becomes even angrier with Chin, fully intending to finish him off. Meanwhile, all the instructors are amazed by Chin's incredible endurance. At that moment, Go realizes that the dangerous boy isn't using his full power. The dangerous boy notices how sharp the leaves in the area are and why the place is called the metal structure. He takes advantage of his surroundings and launches a fierce attack on Chin. At that moment, Chin's father sharpens his weapon, remembering the moment he attacked Chin with full force. But Chin's powerful magic activates, blocking the attack with ease, while still on the ground. We return to Qin, who blocks the dangerous boy's attack with his sword and says, "You won't take the structure stone that easily." Meanwhile, the sharp leaves continue cutting into Qin. Yang is surprised that the dangerous boy is taking so long to finish off a student who's still in the foundation stage. Sun also tells Go, "Get out of here now." Go is shocked and says, "Alright," before quickly leaving. Yang underestimates Sun's strength at that moment, but Sun tells him, "Don't worry, I'll finish you off right away." Yang laughs arrogantly and says, "After all these years, you haven't changed at all." They both recall a time when she was a child, crying as her mother comforted her, saying, "It's okay, you'll succeed next time." We find out she was crying because Yang had beaten her in the mysterious equation challenge. Yang told her, "Even senior students couldn't solve it, but you're a failure anyway." We return to the present as he repeats the same words, "You're a failure." The fierce battle between the two begins. Meanwhile, Bai continues watching Wong, wondering why he isn't moving at all. At that moment, the dangerous boy approaches Qin, who is exhausted from all the resistance. The boy gets past him and heads toward the structure to take control, but Qin grabs his arm. The dangerous boy gets furious and decides to finish Qin off. The instructors and Wong's father are watching everything unfold. Wong's father tells Director Shi, "You need to stop this mess immediately." She replies, "Don't worry, we put measures in place to protect the characters in the field." Wong's father yells, "I'm talking about the fact that people's souls across the entire world will die because of this." The instructors are stunned by his words. The battle continues between Sun and Yang, as well as between the dangerous boy and Qin. Suddenly, Bai tells Yang, "Something strange is happening. Two powerful spiritual forces are filling the area near the fire and metal structures." Yang asks, "You mean Sun and the dangerous boy, right?" She replies, "No, I mean Go and Qin." At that moment, Go is actually charging a highly dangerous power into his magic sword, while Qin has activated his golden arms. In that moment, Go unleashes the Phoenix Fire attack, making Yang nervous at what he's witnessing. At the same time, Sun and Go defeat Yang, and Qin also defeats the dangerous boy. Meanwhile, everyone is shocked to realize that Wong was never sitting at the water structure. He's actually at the wooden structure and has taken control of it as well. Faction 60's team celebrates, and Qin says Sister Sun's plan actually worked. Finally decides to reveal her true identity. She then attacks Qin in full rage with her complete power. At that moment, Bai is stunned by everything happening and is even more shocked when she realizes that Wong has taken control of the wooden structure while still sitting in front of her. She becomes completely confused, not understanding how this is even possible or how they did it. Later, we learn that Sun's plan from the very beginning relied entirely on Wong. The frog was the one disguising itself as Wong, remaining seated at the water structure, while Wong had actually sneaked into the wooden structure. Then, the dog suddenly leaps at Bai, scaring her. She panics and screams, "A ghost!" The frog continues frightening Bai, making her fall to the ground, trembling in fear. After that, Sun starts worrying about Qin, since she hasn't heard his voice this whole time. Go reassures her, saying he must be safe as long as the metal structure is still in their control. He tells her not to worry and that he will go check on him, advising her to head toward the earth structure and take control of it so she can be with Wong. At that moment, the instructors are pleased with Faction 60's victory, but Director Shi is extremely tense. Wong's father is also worried about Qin and asks them to bring the screen to the metal structure. Meanwhile, Wong arrives at the earth structure and is just about to take control. At that moment, Wong's emotions are on the verge of spiraling out of control, threatening to destroy everything. He is overwhelmed with tension, but Sun arrives just in time, placing her sword with his. With that, the final score becomes 5-0 in structure control, securing Faction 60's victory. The fat instructor, Go, and Instructor Pan celebrate their triumph in the competition, while Director Shi weeps over her defeat. The scene then shifts to the metal structure, where the leader has struck Qin with full force, leaving him unconscious. Go carries him, trying to wake him up, but it's useless. The fat instructor is furious about what's happening and immediately sends healers to Qin. At that moment, Sun is joking with Wong, and they are both overjoyed. But suddenly, the leader appears behind Sun and strikes her down, killing her. She laughs. Wong is in complete shock. He bursts into tears and is consumed by rage, losing control as his power erupts. He charges at the leader, and the entire world is on the verge of destruction from his sheer power. But then, the dog rushes in and stops time. Everyone freezes in place, and the entire world is paralyzed. However, of course, this doesn't apply to Wong's overwhelming power. He shatters the time barrier and still strikes the leader. The leader laughs coldly and says, "So, you were the one protecting Sun from the start, huh? How tragic for you that I killed her anyway in the end." She then launches multiple attacks at him, but naturally, he is completely unaffected. He lands a single devastating blow, sending her flying before unleashing even more power, continuing his relentless assault until he completely crushes her. In the end, she still tries to provoke him, taunting him about Sun and calling him a coward, hoping to push him into finishing her off rather than leaving her helpless and unable to move. She finally begs him to kill her, but he ignores her and walks away. He rushes to Sun, desperately trying to heal her and bring her back, but nothing works. The dog tells him that none of these techniques will help now because the leader struck her brutally and completely destroyed her soul. Wong weeps. After that, Wong summons his spiritual sword, and the sword tells him that the leader has destroyed the vital souls of Lady Sun. So unfortunately, there is nothing they can do for her anymore. Wong then tries to rebuild the world from scratch using his magic, attempting to restore all the material things on the planet. But once again, it's useless. The dog tells him, everything you're doing is pointless. But I stop time, the dog continues. That means we have as much time as we need to find a solution. The sword then asks the dog, you said you can control time, right? The dog replies, yes. Wong says, that's great. That means we have a chance to go back in time. The dog answers, theoretically, yes, but it requires an enormous amount of spiritual energy. Wong replies, so what? He then releases an enormous amount of spiritual. At that moment, the scene shifts to the underworld. The moment the queen learns that Sun is the daughter of the largest corporate group, she and her servants panic. Sun asks, what is happening? At that moment, another servant arrives and says, there is a huge problem, Your Majesty. The queen responds, speak quickly. What's the next disaster? They immediately send Sun back to her world. The spiritual sword understands what is happening, joins forces with Sun, and rushes at full speed to stop Wong and reassure him before he destroys everything. After that, everything is restored to the moment when the leader attacked Qin. But this time, Wong strikes the leader from a great distance, completely crushing her from the start. Qin looks behind him, confused, not understanding anything. The dog asks Wong, are you satisfied with this outcome? After everything you did, she doesn't even what happened. We return to the moment when Wong restores the universe to its original state, only to be shocked that his power refuses to activate. The dog tells him, you acted against the laws of nature and threw the world into chaos. The old rules no longer exist. Wong asks, so you're saying we can't restore things to how they were? The dog replies, no, there's still a way. You can merge the world you created with the old world. You can combine them together. But unfortunately, everyone will forget everything that happened. No one will remember except for you and me. We return to the present after everything has been restored. Wong's father places the amulet on him, and he returns to his cold, emotionless state due to the amulet. And on the next day, Yaoi submits the arrest report of Jiang lying to the minister, yet he still doesn't know the identity of the group trying to kill Sun Rong. Then, the minister gets a call and tells Zhou that the space station detected strange spiritual energy around the competition arena of Faction 59, and the spiritual energy has dropped significantly all over the world, and the spiritual cars stopped working, causing chaos. So Yaoi asks, what's the reason? He replies, unknown, still under investigation, but my superiors aren't happy about what's happening. So Yaoi replies, got it, I'll go investigate this matter. The minister tells him, wait, go stop the spirit sword contest first. On the other side, Chun Chao is upset that the contest got cancelled after they had the upper hand on Faction 59 in the preliminary rounds. Sun Rong comforts him and says, we're in the top 10 and that's a good thing. Then they notice that Wang Ling is sitting alone and not speaking at all, but they don't know that the reason is the seal his father put on him to reduce his spiritual energy, which also reduces his emotions as a side effect, and Sun Rong is very upset for him. Then Teacher Pan walks in, checks their homework, and finds that they all did it. So she tells them, you truly deserve to be in the elite class. Then she says, back in the day we lacked academic discipline and rules, but after we beat Faction 59 in the Spirit Sword contest, the Ministry of Education paid attention to us, and that's why today we'll have a spiritual energy test, and anyone who fails this test will be expelled from the elite class, and the opposite will happen too. If a regular student excels, they'll be transferred to the elite class, so get ready to say goodbye to the old and welcome the new. They're all shocked and upset. Suddenly, they all think of Wang Ling, so Sun Rong runs to him and says, I can give you some of my spiritual energy. The whole class gets jealous. Then Chun Chao also tells him, I learned some techniques from my father that could help you. I can teach you one of them. A debate breaks out between him and Sun Rong, and Wang Ling runs away. When he goes to the bathroom, he finds Jinka and asks him, what will you do in the test? Wang Ling replies, this test is for status, not strength, and it'll be hard to hide myself. Then Guo Hao walks in and Jinka disappears. Guo Hao tells Wang Ling, I know the test came suddenly, but I can help you overcome the difficulties. He pulls out his notebook and says, during the holiday, I discovered a way to create foundation pills that raise spiritual energy within an hour. After that, we'll be able to pass the test easily. So Wang Ling asks him, are you sure you've reached the middle stage? Guahao is shocked and says, you knew? Then he starts crying and begs Wang Ling to help him, saying that if his family finds out he'll be expelled from the elite class, they'll beat him. So they both go to the dog who was originally a frog from the demon world, named Froggy. After a while, they hear the announcement of the test starting from Teacher Wong, who gets on the test platform and tells them, when you hear your number, come stand on this platform and focus your spiritual energy, and depending on your energy, a cloud will form above you and lightning will strike, and those who don't explode from the lightning will pass the test. All the students get very scared of the test, and Teacher Wong tries to reassure them that the new device limits the shock to a safe level and there's emergency support. He calls the first student, and when he gets up, he can't handle the shock and is taken to the hospital. Sun Rong is worried because Wang Ling hasn't shown up yet, and Chun Chao tries to comfort her. Meanwhile, Wang Ling and Guahao are in the lab making the pills, and Froggy is extremely exhausted after using all his power. Guahao says to Wang Ling, I still remember during the golden pill test when you gave me your pill and you took the rotten one from my furnace thinking it was yours, and that day I decided you're my friend for life. Wang Ling is surprised because that's not what happened. The rotten pill was actually his. At the same time, Teacher Pan is on her way to the lab, and they hear her footsteps. Guahao panics because she's supposed to be monitoring the test. Wang Ling grabs a bucket of water and soaks Guahao. Pan walks in and angrily asks them, everyone's at the test. What are you two doing here? They apologize and say they fell into the pool and their clothes got wet, so they were drying them. But she notices the furnace behind them and asks, what's in it? Froggy saves them by jumping on her. Quickly, Guahao grabs the pills from the furnace so Pan doesn't see them and discover they're cheating in the test. Pan opens the furnace and finds their socks inside, and Guahao tells her, we were drying them. She scolds them for being late and leaves. After that, Wang Ling asks him, where did you hide the pills? He replies, in my stomach. Suddenly, the pills activate and his spiritual energy increases, and his body grows massively. Wang Ling hits him hard, making him release all the energy and lose consciousness. After a while, Guahao wakes up back to normal and finds his friends around him, and it's his turn for the test. He jumps up and rushes to the platform, thinking the pills are still active. But when he checks the time, he's shocked and cries on the platform. Then he focuses his spiritual energy, and a huge cloud forms above him. Lightning strikes, and he's not affected. He's surprised he actually reached the middle stage. On the other side, Jinka says to Wang Ling, I think your strike is what made him reach that level. Then it's Wang Ling's turn. Guahao gets worried for him because he ate the pills. When Wang Ling steps on stage, the teacher says, since your spiritual energy is low, you're allowed to wear a helmet. When Wang Ling focuses his spiritual energy, Jinka says, there's an error in the system because there's a power limit but no time limit for absorbing spiritual energy, and your spiritual power is like a vast sea. When they designed the system, they didn't account for someone like you. The black cloud above Wang Ling grows bigger and bigger. Everyone around him starts panicking. Wang Ling asks Jinka, how long will the lightning last? He replies, until all the spiritual pulses around you are drained. The teacher is shocked by what's happening, and Sun Rong is very worried. The teacher tries to unplug the system but can't. Everyone helps him, but the cloud keeps growing and covers the whole city, and the electricity goes out, and the total spiritual energy in the city keeps dropping. Jinka tells Wang Ling, this will be your end if it continues. Wang Ling pulls out the sword and throws it to Sun Rong, and tells her from another dimension, use this to cut the wire. She does what he told her with so much power that she tears open space itself, and that tear opens another world full of dangers. And in the other world, the demon emperor asks his advisor why there's noise in my great throne land. The advisor replies, a space-time crack occurred leading to the human world. The emperor responds, I remember sending one of the demon kings to invade that human land before. The advisor replies, yes, the great frog was one of my disciples and was sent 3 years ago, and among all demon kings, he was the fiercest one of them. On the other side, the frog is enjoying himself as Froggy while the students play with him. The emperor says, so it's been 3 years and he still hasn't delivered the human world, and I also feel that the crack leading to the human world is absorbing the spiritual energy from my world. The advisor is surprised and says, that's a reverse outcome. That shouldn't happen. We actually wanted to invade the human world to extract the vast spiritual energy in it. Then the advisor starts wondering, is our world's spiritual energy really greater than the human world's? The demon emperor gets furious and asks, what is that frog doing all this time? The advisor tells him, I'll go myself to the human world and see what that useless frog is doing. At the same time, Froggy receives a message on his phone and is shocked when he sees it. He goes to Wang Wang Ling's house and sits with him. Wang asks, "Why did you come?" He replies, "I missed you." It's clear he's scared of what's coming. On the other side, Teacher Pan is in the teacher's office, insisting on going to Wang Ling's house because his grades last year were the lowest in class, and she thought he would go to the regular class after the test. The teacher asks her, "Do you suspect he cheated in the exam?" She replies, "No. But after the test, the cost of spiritual energy in our faction increased drastically, and we're about to go bankrupt." He agrees and tells her, "Go as you want." Pan is surprised and asks, "You're not coming with me?" He replies, "No, I have personal matters to attend to." Meanwhile, the advisor arrives on Earth and calls the frog. Froggy panics and ignores the calls and messages. But then he sees a message with a photo of the advisor saying, "I'm on my way to you." Jinka asks Froggy, "What's your master like?" Froggy says, "He's the sum of all wisdom in the demon world and an ancient demon who lived 1,000,000 years. He was my main teacher for centuries, and it was the most miserable time in my life. I still see him in my nightmares." After a while, Wang Ling's father prepares the new seal that will reduce his spiritual energy, but without restrictions on his speech or emotions. He asks Froggy for help in removing the old seal to place the new one. He explains the plan to the dog, and they start quickly before an explosive power leaks from Wang Ling. Froggy places the seal, and they are reassured that nothing went wrong. Suddenly, they find Wang Ling speaking oddly because Froggy placed the seal backward. Froggy says, "I'm actually colorblind." Suddenly, a huge power bursts out of Wang Ling and is about to explode. Froggy absorbs it quickly before it destroys the whole house. On the other side, the advisor is still searching for Froggy. At the same time, Teacher Pan arrives and they've already finished the seal. Wang Ling welcomes the teacher, but in an exaggerated way. The teacher sits down and says, "I came to talk to you about Wang Ling's academic status. Last term, his results weren't satisfying at all." His mother replies, "That's not important. What matters to me is that he made friends and enjoyed his time." The teacher is surprised and says, he also couldn't finish all his summer vacation tasks. Suddenly, Wang Ling brings down all the week's homework on the table and says loudly, "I finished everything. Should I hand it in now or at school?" The teacher says, "And he also failed the pill-making test." Wang Ling brings down a box full of different pills like stimulants and respiratory pills. The teacher gets embarrassed and says, "The reason I came is to say that Wang Ling is never enthusiastic about his studies." Then Wang Ling puts pens and tools in front of her and moves them with spiritual energy too. She tells him, "One pen and eraser are enough." Wang Ling's mom takes his father aside and asks, "What kind of seal did you put? Are you sure this is our son?" He says, "I think it's related to emotion control. Distract the teacher and I'll make him another seal." On the other side, the advisor is lost and can't find Froggy or pinpoint his exact location. Meanwhile, Wang Ling's mother tries to distract Teacher Pan by showing her the house. Suddenly, she sees the dog and Wang Ling's father doing something to Wang Ling. She says, "The dog is massaging his back," and quickly takes her upstairs. His father continues and puts the second seal on him quickly. Suddenly, Wang Ling feels something weird like he's hallucinating and starts moving all the house furniture randomly. When his mom sees what's happening, she tries to stop Pan from noticing. His dad tells him, "Do something quickly and try to control your spiritual energy." Then Wang Ling grabs Froggy like a gun and fires his energy on the moving furniture to drain its spiritual energy. On the other side, his mom takes Teacher Pan to show her childhood photos of Wang Ling and says, "His father and I aren't good at developing his skills, and Wang Ling was born with very weak spiritual energy, so he didn't have friends. I don't even know how he got into the elite class and met all these friends." The teacher remembers that Wang Ling never told anyone about his past. His mom continues, "I don't expect him to be excellent or above everyone. I just hope he spends his days happily." After Wang Ling finishes with all the furniture, his father notices something wrong with the seal. He tells Wang Ling, "Don't move," and asks Froggy to remove the seal quickly. But Froggy is standing at the door, trembling because he feels the advisor has arrived and found him due to Wang Ling using Froggy's spiritual energy. Indeed, the advisor teleports to the front of the house. Wang Ling's father tells him, "Don't move or the seal will explode." Froggy loses consciousness from extreme fear. Wang Ling's father removes the seal just as the advisor opens the door, and Wang Ling's spiritual energy blasts in his direction, sending him flying toward the mountain and melting it. Teacher Pan comes down to say goodbye and thanks Wang Ling's mom for showing her that academic grades aren't everything. She says, "From now on, I'll care more about students' growth." When Froggy wakes up, he finds everything fine, but under his feet, he finds something that belongs to his master and is shocked. And 10 years ago, there was a man named Edler on a plane with a woman named Yu, and Edler felt strange turbulence in the air. So he asked Yu, "Don't you notice something strange?" She asked, "You mean the 7 Stars squad following us?" Suddenly, the plane swerved, and the flight attendant asked everyone to return to their seats and fasten their seatbelts, but you didn't listen. So the flight attendant called her specifically more than once, and you screamed at her, making her lose consciousness, and yelled, "How can I fasten my belt with this kind of power?" Suddenly, the plane exploded, and Edler tried to catch her, but you slipped from his grip and flew out of the plane. Back to the present, Guahao tells them this story and says, the plane carrying the world's #1 assassin crashed and he disappeared for 10 years. Chun Chao asks him, did he die in that accident? Guo replies, no. Rumors say his beautiful girlfriend was badly injured and they've been living in Songhai since, and there are rumors someone saw him near our faction. Teacher Pan interrupts them and tells them there was a surprise in the last test and one of the regular class students performed excellently and was moved to the elite class. Then a girl walks in, and Wang Ling is shocked when he sees her and imagines her as Sun Rong. The girl enters and introduces herself to the class, saying, my name is Lin Xiaoyu. The teacher asks them to take care of her. Jinka tells Wang, that girl looks familiar, and Wang Ling starts thinking. On the other side, Teacher Wang is in a forest searching for someone, and Joey speaks to him from afar saying, be careful, this enemy is a top-class assassin. Suddenly, Teacher Wang finds her in front of him and says, you're surrounded? You? Where have you been all these years? But it turns out to be a trap, and she's a puppet that explodes on him. At the same time, the real Yu is in the same city on her way to rescue her sister, who is Zhang Liang. On the other side, Gua Hao continues the chain of rumors and says that after Yu was captured by the 7-star squad, her sister Zhang Liang was arrested here in the faction, and the rumors also say there's a giant prison hidden inside our faction. Suddenly, Yu passes right in front of them. They chase after her and search for her but can't find her. They enter the teacher's room and find nothing there until they hear someone coming, so they hide and find that it's Lin Xiaoyu entering. When she sees them hiding, she gets very angry thinking they were spying on her and throws a broom at them. They dodge it, and it hits the human model behind them and its head spins, opening a secret door, and they fall underground. Wang Ling follows them down. On the other side, Yu reaches the prison hanging with chains. Zhang Liang is shocked to see her and says, untie me. Yu replies, you think I came to free you? There was a contract to assassinate Sun Rong. Did you complete it? Ing tries to explain, but Yu says, you must be punished. Ing thinks she won't shoot her sister, but the opposite happens. Yu shoots an arrow beside her and says, before I kill you, we need to settle our score first. Suddenly, Wang Ling and the others fall in front of her, shocking her. Jinka tells Wang, I found a safe room. Wang Ling teleports them there. On the other side, Yu tells Ing that she met the love of her life during one of her missions, and they started working together since then and traveled around Earth. After that, she became the leader of the Shadow faction and enjoyed life very much, until the plane explosion happened. She spent 10 years in the demon world imprisoned, far from her lover. She tells her, I was locked in a disgusting palace translating documents about the human and demon worlds, and one day I found an assassination contract assigned to the Shadow faction from the demon world, and then I realized you were the one who blew up the plane I was on and took my position as leader of the faction. Ing replies, I did want to take your position, but I'm not the one who blew up the plane and I don't even know what you're talking about. But Yu doesn't believe her and shoots an arrow at her. Suddenly, Teacher Wang appears and catches the arrow and tells you, that's not what happened. On the other side, Guahao and the rest analyze the events from 10 years ago to figure out exactly what happened. Guahao tells them, first, a plane was hit right above Faction 60, and it had Edler and Yu on it. You fell from it. Lin Xiaoyu tells them, and at the same time, the giant frog attacked. Gua continues, a gate to the demon world opened above Faction 60. Then Teacher Zhou Yi defeated the giant frog in one strike. Suddenly, Wang Ling understands exactly what happened. He remembers when the frog was about to launch an energy orb at Zhou Yi, so he kicked it very hard and flipped it on its back, and the frog launched the orb into the sky and it hit Yu and Edler's plane. At that moment, Wang Ling tried to control the plane remotely and land it safely. Then Yu was thrown out of the plane due to air pressure after Wang Ling adjusted the plane's direction. When Yu flew out of the plane, she passed through the demon world gate from which the frog emerged. Guahao realizes that Edler built the secret room they're in and was waiting for Yu to return. They're all moved by the story and cry, and Wang Ling blames himself for what he did unintentionally. On the other side, Teacher Wang tells Yu, I hid my identity and waited for you in the same place, and finally, I saw you today. Yu cries and says, why did you gain so much weight? He replies, I was eating a lot because of depression. She tells him, aren't you going to take me to see the stars and the moon like you promised 10 years ago? They go together and leaving behind. And on the next day, Teacher Wang and Yu give the students a lesson about spirit sword maintenance. They explain that swords might not stay sharp or may lose speed in flight because the swords are unhappy, and that could happen due to overuse, exhaustion, or an unhealthy spirit sword diet. They tell them the solution is regular maintenance for the sword. Jinka tells Wang Ling, I haven't had maintenance since I was born, so Wang Ling agrees to go go with him to a maintenance shop. The teacher tells them to be ready with their swords next week for the spirit sword lesson. On their way in the train, Guahao asks Sun Rong, "Has your sword recovered or not yet?" She tells him it got fixed but its spirit is still healing. She asks him and Chun Chao, "Do you maintain your swords?" Chun Chao says, "I bought a maintenance kit online." She tells him surprised, but the kits online are for grade C swords or lower, and like teacher Wong said, big swords like yours need a real shop. Guahao says, "After the contest, my sword got ruined and I need to take it to a good shop." So Chun Chao offers to fix it for him since his sword is small. He says, "I have a discount card for a nearby shop." Sun Rong pulls out her wallet and says, "I have a premium membership at that shop." She asks Wang Ling, "Want to come with us after the weekend?" But Wang Ling is thinking about how Jinka is a mature spirit who can go to the shop on his own. At the weekend, Wang Ling goes with them to get their swords serviced. When they enter, they are surprised to find Lin Xiaoyu doing maintenance at the shop, and they see that she's very skilled in handling swords. She tells them, "I was raised with swords, and there was a sword spirit that took care of me since I was little." Sun Rong asks her, "Where are your parents?" She replies, "The sword spirit said they left me, that's all." Guahao asks her, "And where is she now?" She sadly replies, "When I was 8 years old, she said she was going on a short trip and left me a note saying she's going to Songhai for maintenance and will return in 3 days. Since then, she never came back. She probably, like me, has no sense of direction and got lost and couldn't find her way home. Since then, I've worked in the sword shop hoping to find her." Chun Chao is moved because she didn't buy another sword until now because she's attached to her old sword spirit. But she interrupts his emotional moment and says, "No, because I don't have money to buy another one." Suddenly, students from Faction 59 walk in and Tang, the student council president, mocks Lin Xiaoyu for not having money to buy another sword. He throws their swords at her and says, "Fix them." She tells him, "These are a lot and it'll take 3 days." So Sun Rong pulls out her premium membership card and says, "We booked all of Lin Xiaoyu's time today." Before a fight breaks out, Lin Xiaoyu says, "It's okay if I work extra hours." Tang mocks her again and walks away. Later, Sun Rong and the others reflect on what Lin Xiaoyu said about her sword spirit. Guahao says, "Who would have thought her life was this hard?" Sun Rong thinks about buying her a sword. Guahao tells her, "No, that would hurt her pride." On their way, Wang Ling sees the blacksmith center and tells them, "We can forge a sword for her ourselves." That night, Lin Xiaoyu closes the shop and leaves, and they're all upstairs. Sun Rong got permission from the shop manager to use the center. Wang Ling draws the sword's design, and everyone brings the materials they managed to get and they evaluate them. Wang Ling brings the metal piece that fell from the Demon Emperor's advisor, and when they scan it, the device breaks from its power. Then they melt all the materials in the furnace to pour them into the sword mold. On the next day, Lin Xiaoyu goes to open the shop and is surprised they arrived before her. Suddenly, Sun Rong brings out the sword they made for her and says, "It's for the spirit sword lesson tomorrow." Lin Xiaoyu cries from happiness and says, "This looks like the sword I had." They're all surprised. How did Wang Ling know? She thanks them from her heart for the gift. Then Tang and his friends walk in and mock the sword they made for Lin Xiaoyu. He pulls out his sword and says, "The shop manager maintained my sword himself." Guahao provokes him and says, "You mean the sword I shattered with mine in the contest?" Tang gets angry and looks at Lin Xiaoyu and says to the shop manager, "As far as I remember, the premium member can request any employee to test a sword." Sun Rong also pulls out her premium card and tells the manager, "I'm booking her for the first test." The manager apologizes and says, "Tang requested her first." Tang gets close to Sun Rong and says, "Your tricks won't work. This shop belongs to my family anyway." He tells Lin Xiaoyu, "Bring your sword and show me the quality your friends made." Lin Xiaoyu goes down to the arena wearing armor and trembling. Tang pulls his sword and summons a giant wooden ball from the ground and slices it in half easily because of his sharp blade. Lin Xiaoyu gets even more nervous. Tang uses his ice spirit and Chun Chao gets worried about her, but the manager tells him, "If you interfere, you'll be banned from the shop." Tang rushes at Lin Xiaoyu and suddenly her sword shows many eyes and curses Tang's sword and absorbs all his spiritual energy. Before he dies, Jinka appears in sword form and breaks Tang's sword and Tang faints. They all go down to check on Lin Xiaoyu. And on the next day, the soul of the Demon Emperor's advisor possesses Lin Xiaoyu, and he's extremely furious because his chaos ring was turned into a sword, and he uses a technique that lets him recall past events and sees Sun Rong giving Lin Xiaoyu the sword, so he decides to target her and take revenge. In the morning at school, there's a girl waiting for a boy in class. When he walks in, she gives him a bag that's a lucky charm. It's one of the traditions used to express love, and whoever gets this charm can have any wish granted. Guahao, Chun Chao, and Wang Ling are watching them from behind the door. Teacher Wang sees them and opens the door to check what's happening. When he sees what's what's going on. He tells them this place is only for learning, and he takes the charm. So Sun Rong sees the girl begging teacher Wang to give her back the charm, and she gets scared to give Wang Ling her charm. Then Lin Xiaoyu appears behind her and tells her, "Can you wait until he finishes his work?" Sun Rong is surprised because students shouldn't be at the academy at night. Lin Xiaoyu tells her, "I live here anyway." On the other side, Zhang Lang moves the arrow that Zhang Lui threw at her and tries to break the chains with it, and discovers that her guess was right, that the city now suffers from a spiritual energy shortage, so the prison she's in must be weakened. At the same time, Guahao tells Chen Chao about the rumors he heard that the academy at night is scary because there's a girl's spirit that sings and might appear in the bathroom. Wang Ling goes to get food and finds Sun Rong in front of him. She hits him 3 times on the head with a stick and closes the door behind her, wishing he understands what she did. Guahao tells him, "That means meet me at the academy gate tonight." At night, Sun Rong is waiting for him, and Wang Ling arrives, but she's shocked that Guahao and Chen Chao are with him. She gets annoyed because now she can't give him her charm in front of them. So they walk through the academy to go to Lin Xiaoyu. Chen Chao is nervous and scared, pretending to be brave and not afraid of anything. Suddenly, Lin Xiaoyu appears in front of him, and he gets terrified and falls to the ground. She apologizes for scaring him, and suddenly, they feel a tremor caused by Zhang Lang breaking the chain of the hanging prison, so the prison hits the wall hard. Zhang Lang laughs an evil laugh, and they hear her voice. Guahao remembers the rumors and gets scared. Zhang Lang looks for a way to reach the surface and finds a broken wall leading to the water pipes. At the same time, Guahao and Chen Chao are in the bathroom talking about the laugh they heard. Suddenly, they hear a sound coming from the toilet. Chen Chao panics, and Guahao goes to open the door to check the sound. Suddenly, Zhang Lang's hand comes out, and they faint from fear because the rumors are coming true. Wang and the others hear their screams and enter to see what's going on. Wang Ling sees Zhang Lang trying to get out, so he pushes her back down. Zhang Lang finds herself in the secret room Wang Ling had made for her sister and finds an elevator in front of her and gets happy. On the other side, Wang Ling and the others place seals on Guahao and Chen Chao to wake them up quickly, but it'll still take an hour. Lin Xiaoyu says, "Let's continue our tour until they wake up," but she says it in a sneaky way. Sun Rong agrees to the idea because she'll be alone with Wang Ling. Meanwhile, Zhang Lang is in the elevator thinking whether to go after Yaoi first or her sister. When the elevator door opens, she finds Wang Ling in front of her, and he breaks the elevator floor, making her fall again. Then Lin Xiaoyu tells them, "I'll go to the bathroom and come back." Sun Rong warns her about the hand that comes out of the toilet. Lin Xiaoyu enters, and the advisor takes over her body. He thinks that at exactly midnight, the demon world gate will open, and he'll take Sun Rong with him to get revenge because her ancestors killed many demons. At the same time, Sun Rong and Wang Ling are standing in front of the legendary mirror, which at this time of year shows an image from the future. Sun Rong pulls out her charm, and suddenly the advisor lands a strong punch on Wang Ling that sends him flying. He tells Sun Rong, "I'm back." Sun Rong pulls out her sword, but before she can do anything, he ties her up with energy threads, and the full moon turns blood red. The advisor tells her, "This mirror holds space magic, and humans use it to seal the space-time crack leading to the demon world, but now I can use it to open the gate." Before he enters the demon world with Sun Rong, Zhang Lang jumps on him with her ability to extract the soul that she used the first time. Wang Ling quickly jumps to save her, so Zhang Lang's attack hits Lin Xiaoyu and removes the advisor's soul from her. Wang Ling punches Zhang Lang again, breaking the wall, and finds Sun Rong's charm on the ground, so he picks it up. And on the next day, Chen Chao is watching a live stream of a fox spirit girl named Soda, and he sees her opening the package he sent her, and he's super excited because he sent her a celestial dog's tongue, which is a very expensive medicine. Chen asks her about her sick master's condition, and she tells him he's still unconscious in the ICU, and thanks him again for the medicine, saying she feels he'll get better after taking it, and she asks him to appear with her on the live stream, and he breaks down. On the other side, Yaoi is meeting with the ancestors of early humans. They ask him, "What made you summon elders over 10,000 years old?" He explains the issue of spiritual energy shortage in the human world. They reply, "This happened before and we solved it easily. You interrupted us for something like this?" He tells them no. Because of the energy drop, the crust of the human world has become very fragile, and we've detected several breaches by demon spies. They respond, "That's an easy matter, we can build strong barriers to prevent that. Then we'll revive spiritual energy and the human race will be great again." A debate breaks out between the ancestors that they should retaliate against demons, not just prevent them from entering the human world. Yaoi tells them, "Calm down, we don't even know the coordinates of the demon world yet. If we send an expedition through the spatial crack, we'll get lost in the space storms." Their leader replies, "It doesn't matter, we can capture a demon and interrogate it." Suddenly, the connection between them is cut off. The next day at school, Guahao tells Wang Ling that Chan Chao's father is punishing him at the school gate. When they go to check, they find his father pointing his spear at Chan Chao and asking, "Why have you dropped your level like this?" Chan Chao apologizes and says, "I always follow your guidance and help those in need." In front of him is his phone, open on Soda's stream. Chan Chao continues, "I met that girl by chance, and her master got seriously injured and is unconscious, so now she's streaming to raise money to save him." His father angrily asks, "So you gave her your spiritual energy as a reward?" He replies, "Yes." His father forgives him because he was doing good. Before he leaves, he asks him about the celestial dog's tongue. Suddenly, they hear Soda saying, "Thank you, Chan Chao, for the celestial dog's tongue you gave me." His father becomes furious and breaks the phone in half and threatens him. "If I see you watching that stream again, you'll be punished." After that, Wang Ling and the others are walking and thinking about what Chan Chao did. Sun Rong says, he could have rewarded her, but not to that extent. Lin Xiaoyu tells them, "This is magic. Back in the day, demons would take the form of a beautiful girl to deceive humans and absorb their magic essence. So I think Chan Chao is under that black magic." Suddenly, they hear Chan Chao's voice from the computer room. They enter and find him watching the live stream from a computer. Sun Rong asks, "Is there a way to break this spell?" Lin tells them, "The fastest way is to use a spirit in cyberspace to locate the demon stream room and cut the black magic, but that needs someone at the golden pill stage, which is the highest level of spiritual energy." Guahao plugs in a USB with a Trojan virus and uses it to attack the live stream. The virus reaches Soda's device, and she creates a firewall that destroys his virus. Wang Ling reminds Sun Rong of the charm trick she used during the class president elections. She goes to give him a drink as a gift to perform the technique, then traps him in the spell and tells him, "Come back to us." Soda gets scared because she might lose Chan Chao, so she starts begging him and says, "Don't leave me." Her begging and acting work, and Chan Chao puts the headset back on. Sun Rong tries again, but he turns away and she's shocked. Soda laughs an evil laugh because her plan worked and looks at her master, who turns out to be the advisor. Suddenly, Mr. Chun appears and sees Chan Chao watching the stream again and gets furious. He says, "When I was young, I was also overwhelmed by passion like him and was stubborn, and the celestial dog's tongue that's 10,000 years old was a love gift from my wife." When he hears Soda thanking Chan Chao for the gift, he explodes with rage and breaks the computer in half. Chan Chao cries and plugs the computer cable into his head to transfer his soul into the digital world. On the other side, the demon girl is celebrating that she has gathered all the spiritual energy she needed and transforms into her true form. Suddenly, she sees Chan Chao coming out of her computer screen and is shocked to find that her room was fake and just a setup. On the other side, his father tries to revive him, but Sun Rong tells him it's useless because his soul isn't in his body. Wang Ling asks Guahao, "Do you have the address of the stream room?" At the same time, Chan Chao can't fight the demon girl because a spirit can't fight a physical body. So the demon girl starts sucking him with a vacuum cleaner to extract his spiritual energy. Right before he enters the vacuum, Wang Ling extends his hand from the screen and punches the demon girl and pulls Chan Chao's soul. On the other side, the news anchor announces that Yaoi solved the internet fraud case and they found many containers of stolen spiritual energy, but they haven't found the culprit yet. And a few days later, at the Sun family's house, Mr. Sun calls someone and says, "As you know, my company's spiritual supply chain went through some problems, and I need some spiritual energy as soon as possible to save my company. We were friends and classmates, and what I need isn't much, just 200 million spiritual energy." Sun Rong is worried about her father, and a servant tries to comfort her, but she hears her father yelling at his friend for saying, "I'll think about it," and not caring that he's in trouble, and he hung up on him. Then the door knocks, and Mr. Sun opens it and finds a court notice saying he must pay by tomorrow or he'll lose the company and all his assets. The next day, Wang Ling and the others go to Mount Sun after they lost everything, and they're surprised by Rong's primitive clothes and that she's happy and not affected at all. When they enter, Guahao says, "True, your family failed to face fate, but that doesn't mean you should go back to the Stone Age." Wang Ling asks her why all this happened. She replies, "Star Fruit Waterflower Group is a pharmaceutical company focused on magic pills. The spiritual energy drop in the world caused a poor herb harvest." Her father interrupts and tells her, "Don't worry, and don't forget the Sun Rong family started in this small place. They all try to stay optimistic that they can grow from scratch and return." On the other side, the Tang family is celebrating the fall of the Sun family after a battle that lasted over 1,000 years. Tang says it's all thanks to Richmond, who helped them raise their stock and tarnish Star Fruit Waterflower Group's shares. Richmond laughs and tells them, "It's just a spiritual capital game. The world's energy value is currently low, but their stock was irrationally high, so I spread a few rumors and moved a large chunk of shares I secretly bought earlier, then shareholders will pay you to survive." cave. Then he says, but remember, the spirit vein of Mount Fruit Flower still exists, so we must continue our plan to wipe out the Sun family. On the other side, Mr. Sun talks to them about his company, and Wang Ling goes to talk to Rong. She shows him the pure spiritual spring water and tells him, this cave is the Water Star Cave. There used to be a waterfall at the entrance, but now this small amount of water is all that remains, and when the lake below dries up, the spirit vein of Mount Fruit Flower will be cut off. With full determination, she tells him, from now on, I'll depend on myself. Time passes, and Wang Ling and the others leave. On their way, a car passes by them at very high speed. In the subway, they hear in the news that the Tang family will acquire Star Group for 140 billion spiritual energy, and that the acquisition ceremony will be tomorrow at Water Star Cave, and the heirs will form a blood pact during the ceremony. They're all shocked that Rong will sign a blood pact with Tang and wonder when this happened since they just returned from her. Wang Ling tells them, the limousine that passed by us had the same logo as the one on the screen, and they suspect Rong was forced into it and decide to go back to the mountain. On the other side, the Tang family is holding a celebration inside the cave, and they completely changed the place with decorations. Mr. Tang tells Mr. Sun, this place has a wonderful view. I don't know how you used such a spirit vein for a few herbs. I'm going to level the forest and plant garlic. Mr. Sun gets angry and says, no, don't do that. There are herbs here that are thousands of years old. He replies, that's exactly why Star Group went bankrupt, because those herbs take 100 years to mature, but garlic grows all year and you can harvest it 5 or 6 times. At the same time, Wang Ling and the others arrive and find one of Tang's friends at the gate blocking them, so Chan Chao attacks him. On the other side, the signing ceremony begins, and Mr. Tang gives a speech to the attendees and says, after a 1,000-year battle with the Sun family, the Tang Group will finally acquire Star Group. Rong is heartbroken and deeply hurt by what she hears. Meanwhile, Gua Hao attacks, but Isha Bai's net, Tang's assistant, stops him. Right before the enemy swings his sword at them, Lin Xiaoyu opens her sword, and energy butterflies come out and dissolve the net, allowing Gua Hao and Chan Chao to attack. Isha Bai goes to help Tang, and they chase after her. Wang Ling uses the chance and rushes to the cave. Right before Rong cuts her finger, Wang Ling grabs her hand and runs with her. At the same time, the others finish their fight and arrive. Suddenly, Mr. Sun calls out to Rong and asks, did you forget what you promised us? She pulls her hand from Wang Ling's and apologizes, saying, these are my wishes, but they don't believe her. So she tells them that after they left yesterday, Mr. Tang came and said, I heard Star Group is in trouble these days, and I'm here ready to invest in your group. Mr. Sun was surprised and asked, in exchange for what? He simply replied, my son and your daughter will sign a blood pact. Rong answered, no way, we'd rather farm our whole lives than bow our heads to you. But she was shocked that her father wanted to hear more, and her mother started convincing her that instead of all this hard work and waiting hundreds of years, maybe they should agree to the deal. They both pressured her with the idea of the thousands of employees depending on them and the state of their family. She tells Wong and the others, I can't keep enjoying my status as their daughter and not fulfill my duty as heir. If sacrificing myself will bring happiness to the family, then that's what I have to do. Mr. Tang threatens that if they stay here, he'll call the police. Chan Chao tells him, you think wealth can do everything? He replies, yes. Wang Ling walks away, upset. When he passes by the mountain's lake, he sees strange bubbles. He dives into the lake and discovers a star leech inside it, an ancient demon that's been absorbing the land's spiritual vein, and it's the reason behind all this. On the other side, Richmond notices they discovered the trick, but he's confident it's too late. But suddenly, the spiritual energy begins to return. That's because Wang Ling exerts pressure with his spiritual energy and lifts it from the lake, and it explodes. At that moment, Tang Group stocks freeze. On the other side, Rong cuts her finger to sign, and suddenly they see the leech explosion and the cave's waterfall returning. Mr. Tang's assistant runs in and tells him all his stocks have been frozen. Mr. Sun's assistant enters and tells him that Star Group shares are rising again. Joey walks in and tells them, we discovered that Tang Group is colluding with the demon world, and we froze all their capital. He asks them to come with him, and on the next day, the Spirit Sword Arts Gathering Tournament begins in Songhai. All students from all factions can come and present performances in front of the judges, and they'll be evaluated. The event is broadcasted on TV and the internet, and the more views it gets, the more spiritual energy increases in the city. The judges are the 4 sword masters. First is Joey, leader of the 7 Stars Squad. Then comes Teacher Chi, one of the great teachers from Faction 59, followed by the famous sword dance team, Ling Yuan and Hansar. And the first contestant is Sun Rong. Teacher Chi tells her, your swords were badly damaged in last year's spirit sword contest, and you sacrificed your sword spirit to win, right? Sun Rong replies, yes, and that's why I trained hard to improve my skills, and the reason I joined this tournament is to get the opinion of great masters on my sword skills. She she begins performing the ocean dance that's been passed down through the Sun family generations. Everyone is amazed, and Teacher Chi looks at her slyly and says, "Truly a dance that deserves praise." On the other side, a demon is watching the stream and causes interference in Rong's sword movement. Just before the sword hits Teacher Chi, Teacher Wang saves her, and one of the swords nearly falls on Rong, but she barely dodges it. Teacher Joey tells her, "It's very risky to control that many swords. Choose a smaller number you can handle." Rong feels discouraged because she doesn't know how that happened, but she's sure she can handle that many swords easily. She steps off the stage feeling very embarrassed, and her friends try to comfort her. But on the bright side, the stream views are rapidly increasing, so they continue broadcasting without ads, and the demon laughs sneakily. Wang Ling is reviewing the stream and suspects something happened that caused this. Suddenly, they see Chun Chao and Guahao stepping onto the stage. The judges ask them, "What will you perform?" They reply, "We want to perform a short act for our friend who's been through a lot in her life and always tries to smile. We want to support her through this pressure." Their performance is that Guahao will charge with Chun Chao's giant sword while Chun Chao holds it. Teacher Chi tells them, "That's an old style, it's not exciting anymore." Chun Chao replies, "I'll do it blindfolded." Everyone gets excited, and Chun Chao activates a spiritual energy projection in the shape of a giant hand, and everyone is amazed. Just before Guahao runs at him, the demon interferes with the projection, so the sword slips and hits him hard on the head. Guahao quickly takes him to the doctor. Wang Ling replays the video again and still feels something is wrong. The viewer count keeps rising, and the demon is thrilled, waiting to boost spiritual energy further to steal it. Next contestant is Isha Bai from Faction 59. She performs an amazing act, controlling thousands of swords at once. Teacher Chi is impressed and says, "That's real sword control." Sun Rong feels bad hearing that. Guahao returns with Chun Chao after the doctor assured him he'll be okay, but they notice Wang Ling is missing. It's now time for the final contestant, and they're surprised to see it's Lin Xiaoyu. Everyone is stunned by her beauty. She performs a lovely dance that everyone enjoys. She uses her sword and grows a tree from the stage floor. Then she uses fire element and burns the tree. The viewer count breaks records. The demon laughs and says, "It's time to execute my plan." Lin Xiaoyu tries to extinguish the tree's fire and is shocked it won't go out. She hesitates a little but keeps dancing and tries again and fails. But she stays calm and acts like it's all part of the dance. Suddenly, the tree is about to fall on her. Sun Rong quickly jumps on stage and uses her water spirit to extinguish it. Lin Xiaoyu continues her dance as if it was all planned and finishes it by summoning a dazzling sakura tree. The audience cheers, and the viewer count hits 1 billion. Suddenly, the demon appears on stage and says, "Thanks to you, I gathered the 1 billion spiritual energy I needed to activate my power," and he activates a technique that controls the minds and devices of the whole world. But he's shocked to see Lin Xiaoyu and Sun Rong weren't affected by his technique. Wang Ling appears and tells him, "Your magic formation lost its effect." The demon is surprised and asks how he did it. Wang replies, "I moved the magic circle 2 meters forward, so the effect missed us." The demon gets furious, and just before he attacks them, suddenly the announcer approaches him, his muscles grow, and he throws him through the ceiling. But everyone else is still under the demon's magic, and they start rising. Sun Rong can't undo his control. And underground, Zhang Liang is in a new cage, trying to trick the guards and take their keys, but they mock her. Suddenly, the demon's absolute control technique descends on the guards. On the other side, Wang Ling, Lin, and Rong are escaping from the stage and trying to hide from the people since they're all under the effect of the technique. But someone spots them, takes a photo, and uploads it on social media. They're found but manage to escape. Jinka tells Wang, "Your forgetfulness power could cancel the technique." He replies, "It won't work, it causes a side effect that weakens intelligence." Suddenly, they find a crowd ahead, so Wang Ling gets on his sword, grabs the two of them, and flies to the top of a building. Lin Xiaoyu thinks of a solution to this technique and tells them, "The problem is that the absolute control technique is linked to the affected and the caster, so we can't break it with normal means." Suddenly, they see people stacking on top of each other trying to reach the tower they're on. Then they spot Chun Chao preparing to climb the tower. He runs at full speed and shouts to Sun, "I love you." She replies, "I don't love you." He falls on his head, and his heart hurts, and they're shocked that the technique was lifted from him and he's back to his senses. Lin says, "I get it, it's because he hit his head." But Wang Ling tells her, "No, that's not the reason." Sun Rong deduces, "It's because I rejected him and broke his heart that he returned to normal." So Sun shouts loudly to the crowd, "Stop where you are. I don't love any of you." Everyone snaps back to their senses. She decides to start a live stream and say she doesn't love them so the problem gets solved, but they're surprised the network is down. That's because Zhang Liang escaped from prison and is standing on top of the signal signal tower, controlling it. Suddenly, a huge meteor falls on Zhang Liang. Wong is surprised and wonders where the meteor came from. He uses his spiritual energy on his eye to look into space and sees the demon was the one who threw the meteor, but he was aiming at Wang Ling and the others and missed the target. Then they think about what to do with the rest of the people still under control. Wong tells them the nearest signal tower is thousands of kilometers away. Wang Ling points to Skyloop Fort in space. It's the largest communication hub in the world, and they can broadcast to all humanity from there. They ask Wong, how will we get there? He shows them the tournament prize, which is an invitation to Skyloop Fort. They all hop on Wang Ling's sword and head to the train station. Jinka tells Wong, I carry a burden beyond my age. Wong replies, if you succeed, I'll get you your favorite food. He gets excited and increases speed, but they're surprised that the people caught up with them. Chun Chao and Lin Xiaoyu jump down and tell them, we'll hold them off. You only have 2 tickets anyway, so just go. They run quickly to the train and get in before the crowd reaches them. When they reach space, Sun notices how romantic the atmosphere is and feels Wang Ling is about to confess his love. Suddenly, Wang tells her, there's something I've been wanting to say, but I hesitated. She replies, don't hesitate, and gets excited to hear it. He tells her, brace yourself. Suddenly he says, on the way here, I realized no one actually took our tickets. She's shocked that this is what he wanted to say. She asks, what do you mean? He replies, I mean Lin Xiaoyu and Chun Chao could have come with us. On the other side, Chun Chao and Lin are on the ground after people stepped on them and completely ignored them and went after Sun Rong. Meanwhile, Wong and Rong reach Skyloop Fort and begin the live stream on all the city screens. Everyone pays attention. Rong tells them, I appreciate your admiration. I was born the daughter of Star Group and raised under my family's care. When I was a child, I thought everyone loving me was normal, until I joined Faction 60 and realized I'm not the center of the world nor the perfect daughter, so I started working on myself, but then my family went bankrupt and I felt depressed. I suddenly discovered all the things I once overlooked, like the air we breathe, were valuable. From that moment, I started thinking that maybe because I'm the daughter of a wealthy family, people gather around me, and that's why I wanted more people to love me, and with that intention, I entered the Spirit Sword Arts tournament, and I really did get the love of everyone, but I realized I was wrong. I don't need the world's love. I need the love of one man. Everyone's hearts break, and the people cry, and the absolute control breaks. Suddenly, they spot a giant rock heading toward Earth at great speed, with the demon riding it. Wong tells Sun, don't worry. He throws his sword at it, and it shatters into beautiful meteors. On the next day, the students of Faction 60 go on a trip to the anime drawing studio, and the general manager tells them the company has more than 80 employees and explains more details about the animation they produce. Chun Chao gets very excited because he loves animation, so the manager tells him that they can learn drawing at the company's institutes. He opens the company door, and they see the employees inside, very stressed from work, with some suffering from depression and devices overheating. When the producer sees the manager, she runs to him. The manager introduces her to them, and Wong says it looks like the producer was coming to say something important. The producer nervously tells the manager that the director ran away, and he is shocked and very angry because the broadcast is about to start. She tells him that he was sitting drawing the storyboard, then suddenly got very angry, left his room, and no one knows where he is now. They go to the window and see signs of it being broken. The manager thinks for a moment and tells the students of Faction 60 that since this is their training trip, he'll give them the chance to test the role of the director. The words hit the producer like lightning, and she begs him not to do it. He tells her not to worry. The early stages are already done, and the only work left is content review. He informs all the animators that the students of Faction 60 will be the directors for the episode. Then, the manager takes the students to the main animation section, and they see the animation still in its initial sketch phase on paper. The manager tells them the season is 12 episodes, and of course, the director can't oversee every detail, so they need a supervisor to handle each episode, meaning the supervisor is the director of each episode. After the meeting with the director, the supervisor will distribute the scenes to the main animators who know how to draw. Lin Xiaoyu sees one of the scenes on the animator screen and is amazed by it. Chun Chao tells him there's a small problem. He thinks there's frame loss, so the drawings look like scribbles and not like the animation he watches every day. The animator replies that he's the key animator. The supervisor will still adjust the drawings he made, and then the secondary animator will refine them into line art, and then the animation supervisor will fix them. Guo Hao says completing one frame requires more than one person, and asks who's responsible if a single frame gets ruined. The animator gets angry because their labor is limited. Sun Rong says that theater films nowadays have advanced and reached 120 frames per second, so Lin asks why the animation has fewer frames. With comparisons to other works, the animator gets mad and asks, "You want to see more frames?" Then he uses a technique that moves the pen remotely and draws a scene with a higher frame rate. The manager tells them this is called liver-bursting art, a skill only someone in the golden core stage can master. Sun asks in surprise, "Then why don't you draw this way all the time?" He replies that it damages the liver so much that the person might end up in intensive care if they overuse it. After the animator finishes, he collapses, and the scene in front of them looks much smoother. He asks Chun Chao while bleeding, "Are you satisfied now?" Chun replies, "Since I played a lot of games, I still feel like the frame rate is low." So the animator gets angrier and runs away. Another animator appears and asks if they want to see animation at 60 frames per second, speaking with confidence. They follow him, and he explains that this is the photo development section. After receiving the backgrounds and main animations, he adds effects like blur and water surfaces like fireworks. Then he increases the frame rate and tells them this is an AI-powered enhancement, and he can even make it 120 frames per second or even 1200 if they want. Lin asks in surprise, "Then why do they still draw by hand if it's this easy?" He shows her that the AI has problems and asks Chun Chao, "Are you satisfied now, frame rate inspector?" Chun replies, "I think the computer-generated animation has no soul." So he is shocked, explodes in anger, and breaks the device. They then go to the art department and find an old man drawing scenes and backgrounds. He asks if they have any comments. The producer begs them not to suggest any changes because the man has been draining his liver for 6 months and can't endure much longer regardless of his position. The manager tells him he appreciates his work very much and that when he finishes, he can return to his hometown and get married. Suddenly, Guo pulls the computer cable by accident and all his work is lost. The old man turns to ash from the shock. The producer panics and the world around them loses all the backgrounds and turns white. The producer cries because she's lost hope that the episode can be completed. Chun tells her not to worry, she just needs manpower and they're here. Not to worry, they learned a lot on this tour. She's surprised and tells him that they need more than 30 years of experience to create these drawings. The manager tells her not to forget that when they started their company, they were just like them and improved. So the students all sit at the devices to try, and the producer gives them instructions. But they're shocked at how hard it is and all lose hope. Wang Ling puts his spiritual energy into the pens and moves them, making them draw everything they imagine. The producer takes the drawings to the supervisor to fix them, but when she sees the pictures, she deletes them. Chun Chao is shocked and asks her why. She tells him she won't allow that filth on her device. They're all stunned and discouraged. Jinka says to Wong, "What will we do? The world's spiritual energy is nearing zero, and the dimensions will collapse." Wang Ling transitions outside the animated world and into reality, where he sees the real version of the producer and asks her about the director. She points to his room, and Wang Ling notices that everyone in the company is working hard. He enters the director's room and finds him playing games. He takes him back to the animated world, puts him back to work, saves the site, and amazes everyone with his professionalism, and the world returns to normal. On the other side, the Demon Emperor orders the advisor to light the dimensional lamps, and at the same time, Sun Rong exits the elevator of Fort Skyloop, and suddenly they transform into 3D animation, and they notice that the ground is still the same. The Demon Emperor comes out to his army, and the advisor opens a portal to the human world, causing panic in the city due to the demon invasion. On the other side, the ancestors of the first humans gather to find a solution to the problem, and one of the ancestors enters yelling at Guai for not holding the meeting online. Guai tells him the meteors caused interference and cut off the communications, so the ancestor tells him to send the 7 Stars squad that they're feeding to solve the problem. Guai replies, trying to stay calm, that the squad is busy evacuating citizens. He tells them he has a plan. The spatial rift the demons are entering through this time is above Faction 60, and in the school courtyard of the faction he created a test system for the students, and 3 months ago this system generated massive lightning strikes due to one of the students at the school. One of the ancestors asks him, "So if we find someone strong like that student and place him in your system, he'll generate lightning powerful enough to kill the demons?" He replies yes, but they need enormous spiritual energy, and they've lost contact with that student. One of the ancestors replies, "Why do we need him if I'm here?" Guai replies, "But your status isn't high enough to be like him." So the ancestor gets angry and says, "I'll prove to you that I'm stronger than him." On the other side, Rong throws her sword in one direction, and it returns from the opposite direction, so they realize they can't leave the place they're in. Wong tells her, "Let's try to break the wall," and Rong is surprised because that would send send them into space. He tells her not to worry. He placed a protective layer around her, and when Wong breaks the wall, they see an image of themselves repeated, so they deduce that they are in a spatial seal. On the other side, the Demon Emperor says, "Our dimensional seal is trapping the greatest threat among humans, Wang Ling, with only 3,090 lamps." And at the same time, Guai attacks the largest demon monster to provoke it and lure it toward the school courtyard. At the same time, Wang Ling reaches the control unit and modifies their quality, so their quality increases and their movements become smoother. On planet Earth, the ancestor stands on the system and concentrates his spiritual energy and creates a massive amount of lightning and launches it at the demons. Wong and Rong notice what's happening from where they are, but Wong tells her there's a problem. Suddenly, a portal opens from the demon world, and a massive rock comes out of it and falls on the ancestor. He concentrates all his spiritual energy and tries to resist it, but the Emperor and the advisor laugh. Unexpectedly, many other portals open and release more rocks, and demons in the form of small dragons come out and occupy the city. Sun Rong begins to lose hope that Earth will survive, but Wong tells her there's still hope. He opens the elevator and takes out 2 mirrors, telling her this world we're in is very similar to a game. She understands that if they overload the graphics card, the game will crash and the seal will break. They place the mirrors facing each other, and Wang Ling stands between them and glows. Then he tells Sun to summon her sea spirit, so she summons it and makes it circle around him to put more pressure on the graphics card. On the other side, what they're doing affects the advisor's lamps, and he tries to cool them down, but they explode. The seal breaks, and Wang Ling and Sun return to their normal state. Wang leaves her and rushes back to Earth to save the planet. Teacher Guai is relieved that he finally arrived, but suddenly a girl with butterfly wings appears, grabs him, and disappears, leaving behind a magic circle. And we go back to the past and find Lin Xiaoyu with her father, and he's teaching her how to use her spiritual energy and bring out her wings, but she fails, so she gets very discouraged and asks him, "Am I really from the butterfly race? All my friends can already fly, and I'm the only one who still can't bring out my wings." He comforts her and tells her, "I was just like you when I was a kid, and my wings didn't appear until I turned 10, and one day your grandfather threw me into the butterfly valley, and that's how I learned to fly." She asks him, "Why did Grandpa do that?" He tells her, "Our butterfly wings have a rare magical ability for spatial teleportation, and other races always desire it, like the demons. So if we can't escape with our wings and fall into the hands of those races, we'll suffer misery for the rest of our lives." She asks him, "Could we ever fall into the hands of demons one day?" He reassures her that as long as he's around, nothing will happen. Suddenly, a portal to the demon world opens, so her father quickly opens a portal to the human world and throws her in it. A sword spirit finds her on the ground and raises her. Back to the present, Lin Xiaoyu tells Wang Ling the story and tells him that the butterfly world was destroyed by the demons, but for them, it's just routine because their principle is that power means everything, and the strong race invades the weak and takes its spiritual energy. Wang asks her, "Didn't you resist?" She replies sadly, "Resist? Are you joking? All these past years, the Demon Emperor has invaded tens of thousands of races, and all he does is sit on his throne while his soldiers bring him the races he wants. The demon race is an unbeatable legend, and that's what the human race is facing now." He tells her, "We repelled the demon invasion 10 years ago." She tells him, "You're going to meet the Demon Emperor now and see for yourself." He's surprised that she took him to the demon world, and in the human world, the chaos increases more and more, and people start to lose hope. So Sun Rong goes live and gives them a speech saying, "Right now we're in a moment of life or death, and the demon army thinks they can destroy the 7-star squad's defense and crush our will too. But they forgot one truth, which is that every one of us, no matter their rank, old or young, we're all fighters, and we have the instinct to fight, and we've overcome many hardships, and we must overcome this ordeal we're in now." So everyone gets recharged with determination and stands up again to fight the demon army. In the demon world, the emperor hears the speech and claps mockingly. Lin Xiaoyu arrives with Wang Ling and tells the emperor, "I brought him to you like you asked, so I hope you honor the deal and release my sword spirit." The advisor moves his hand and tells them, "Kneel before the emperor," but he's shocked that his power had no effect on Wang and he didn't kneel. He tries again and it still doesn't work, so Wang moves his hand and sends him flying. Lin Xiaoyu is shocked by what she sees, and the demon emperor laughs and gets up from his throne for the first time in thousands of years. Wang tells him, "I'll assume that if I kill you, the war will end." The demon emperor jumps in front of him with his huge body, but Wang doesn't flinch. The emperor says, "I don't fight someone without a name. Identify yourself." The moment Wang speaks, the emperor punches him with all his might, and that turns out to be the biggest mistake of his life, as Wang catches his hand easily and doesn't move an inch. Meanwhile, Sun Rong and the others are fighting the demons, and Jinka arrives to her, so she grabs him and asks, "Is Wang okay?" He tells her, "We should be worried about whoever is facing Wang." At the same time, Wong throws the emperor out of his palace. The emperor trembles, not understanding how a human could have such power and how he never heard of him before. Wong tells him, if I fought seriously on Earth, I'd destroy the world, but this isn't my world, so I can destroy it just fine. The emperor gets furious and tries to run, but Wong charges at him. The emperor says, I'm faster than you, and they engage in a very fast clash, and the emperor tries to match Wong's strength, but it has no effect at all. Wong grabs him by the horns, spins him, and throws him to another planet, destroying it. The emperor crashes back into the palace, and Lin Xiaoyu has freed her sword spirit. Wong lands in front of the emperor, raises his hand, and the emperor is terrified of him. He tells him, I don't understand. The demon race has invaded millions of worlds and destroyed many civilizations, and all the races submitted to us, most of them stronger than the human race. So how did you defeat me? Wong replies, the Huaxiao civilization extends for tens of thousands of years. We've suffered many defeats, and we've endured the misery of destruction, but we never gave up, and we will never submit to evil forces no matter what. The emperor gets angry and says, nonsense. Suddenly, the advisor appears behind Wong and tells him, I finally got my chance after watching you for a long time. I found there's a seal on your back and it's your weakness. And he makes the biggest mistake in history and removes the seal that limits Wang Ling's spiritual energy. The massive spiritual energy inside Wong explodes and destroys the demon world. Meanwhile on Earth, all the demons die and disappear, and all the meteors turn to ash. The people shout in victory, and the sky rains spiritual energy that heals the wounds of all the injured. After that, the spiritual energy level in the world rises again. Lin Xiaoyu and her sword spirit land on Earth, and Wong lands in front of her glowing. Lin tells him, I know I betrayed the human race even after seeing your true power, and I know you won't let me get away with what I did, but please let my sword spirit go. She's innocent. He tells her, there's a phone in my right pocket, and she assumes he's going to report her to the police, but he says, take it and you'll find a number in the emergency contacts. Call my father and tell him to bring a seal quickly before the human world is destroyed too. That war became known as the Second Demon War after the human race shattered the legend of the demon world's invincibility. Of course, Wong credited everything to Guai again so no one would discover his true power, and the Sun family regained their status, and Sun Rong became the director of the Star Group. The city began to recover from the war, and everyone worked together to rebuild it. Lin Xiaoyu returned to live with her sword spirit. Everything went back to normal, and Guahao and the others were on the train, wondering why the demons suddenly retreated in the middle of the war. He looks at a picture of Wong that appeared in the news, but it's blurry, so he doesn't recognize that he's the one who saved the world. Rong asks Wong, what happened to you after you left me? And when she looks at him, she finds him asleep. The next day, Guai and Wong go to Frogi in his cage, and Guai frees him and apologizes. Frogi tells him, I was imprisoned 60 years before, so a few days here doesn't matter. After that, Frogi says to Wong, you defeated the demons, so do you mind if I return to my world? Wong tells him, unfortunately, the demon world no longer exists. Frogi is shocked.